The main character is at work and is about to deliver another order, but at that very moment, someone approaches her. The man says that today she is wearing too loose clothes and her lovely curves are not visible. After all, she has such a beautiful figure, after which this guy tells the girl to sit down next to him. The main character understands that this is the only son of a very high-ranking feudal lord. Since her mother fell into eternal sleep, he has been haunting her. The girl claims that she is busy, but the feudal lord's son claims that there are no more visitors. The girl also understands that no matter how many times he proposes to her or spreads rumors that they are dating, no matter how much he touched her shoulders and hips, as if by accident, she refused and got angry. However, this guy is impenetrable. The lady thinks it's good that he is of noble blood, but Finto is 32 years old and 12 years older than hers. He has a terrible character, and besides, he has already started to go bald, so the lady decides that it is better to just ignore him. But the man at that very moment screams out where she went, after which he grabs the lady by the hand. He claims that if he said to come over, then it means she needs to do it, and asks if she thinks he will always babysit her like that. Hilda wonders what he is talking about, and who else is babysitting who. The girl thinks that if he were not a nobleman with his son, she would smash this mug of beer on his head. And he is crazy. The lady screams for him to let her go, because if Finto continues to behave like this, she will no longer turn a blind eye to it. But the man cries out what she will do and what she can do. He squeezes Hilda's hand even tighter. The main character claims that she is in pain and tells him to let go. But the man screams, does she really think that he won't be able to touch her with a finger? But it seems that it's time to teach her a lesson so that she can finally say thank you to him. The main character can't take it anymore and pulls her hand away. Hilda screams that it hurts. The lady hits him between the legs and calls him crazy. Then the main character sees him fall to the floor. He understands that she made a great strike right on target and did a great job. At this time, the man says that he is about to fall into eternal sleep, and the people in the establishment are watching this. The main character then begins to understand what she has done, because he is the son of a nobleman. She hit an important person, and she will be put into eternal sleep. But since it happened, it is better to finish the matter. The man, seeing the lady approaching him, asks if she has gone crazy, and he wonders how she can behave like that with people well seeing the girl's face. He screams out that it's not necessary. A little while later, the main character ends up in prison. She realizes that her species could be sentenced to death. The girl wonders why this guy didn't wear iron panties, because such important parts of the body need to be protected. Hilda is wondering how she can best enter eternal sleep, whether to do so by losing her tongue or by having her throat cut. At that moment, one of the knights approaches the lady and tells her to come out. A little while later, the main character is already in front of high-ranking people. The girl understands that this freak should be in the hospital and does not understand what he is doing there. And also, does he really want to watch how she is sentenced to death? Then the girl notices someone else and realizes that the man is next to these two, well-built and broad-shouldered porcelain white skin. He also has bright black hair and eyes to match. The main character, looking at his face, thinks who he is. The girl also understands with tears in her eyes that at least she can look at something beautiful before the end. The lady also realizes that she took after her mother, with her blonde hair and violet eyes. She had often heard people call her beautiful, but his face was truly beautiful. It's so calm and serious, but at that very moment, someone screams at Hilda Roos. The man furiously asks if she knows what she's done. Hilda thinks that the old man opened his mouth at the most inopportune moment. Well, in any case, now she just clicks her tongue and then falls to the floor and screams, asking the gentleman to spare her life. She also screams that she didn't want to do it, and it just happened that way. It was the same accident when the nobleman's son started to paw her. The man screams, "What is she talking about?" And the main character replies that if his son did it, not by chance, then she did the same. And it happened when she refused his son who pestered her. And besides, did the master want to see her as a daughter-in-law? Because she thinks that this is not so. The man immediately rises from his seat and cries out, "Can someone like her really be a daughter-in-law?" The lady points to his son and cries out that she agrees, because she has no desire either. If a person is not brilliant, then he should at least be handsome. And if he is already old, then at least he should have hair. Hilda screams for him to say something if he doesn't swallow his tongue, and wonders what he was hoping for by touching her. After which the two are shocked, and the main character, having caught her breath, realizes that she was only going to ask for her life. But then she thinks about what she did. The guy standing next to these two starts laughing, and when the man sees this, he is surprised. The main character wonders if he is laughing, and her life is at stake, but he is having fun. The guy claims that he thinks the girl has done nothing wrong. Hilda wonders if he is on her side. And besides, he called her a girl, and the lady wonders why. The old man turns to the Viscount in bewilderment. But he claims that the lady merely refused his annoying son, and he wants to know the reason for his subsequent actions. Well, his interlocutor replies that no. And yet violence is wrong, after which the main character screams that the cruelty was first shown towards her. The lady also shows her wrist and tells him to look, because his son grabbed her hand first, and she even had a bruise. Then the Viscount says that they should regard it as self-defense. Well, his interlocutor cries out that the lady should pay for her actions. But the guy turns to him and claims that it seems to him that everything is the other way around, and his son seems to want to avoid punishment for what he did. Both sides have grievances, so Bacon asks why not forget about it. When the man wants to object, the guy claims that if they want, they can continue to sort out who is ultimately right and who is guilty. But of course, if he has confidence that Duke Arfergio will take his side. The man claims that this girl is of low birth, and won't that be enough? But the guy replies that no, and status is not important, and also asks him to watch his words. The main character thinks what is going on, because she doesn't understand anything, and they are talking about her, but she still can't understand what's going on. The guy then approaches the lady and greets her, and also states that his name is Rogan Strauss. It is an honor for him to meet the lady. The main character understands that this guy is even cuter up close, and the young man says that the princess can no longer worry. Hilda thinks that this voice is so sweet and soft like cotton candy, but then she thinks about the words he said, and he wonders if she is a princess. But that can't be. Once upon a time, there lived a girl named Rusia Arpeggio. In this world, where the proof of the highest class is the presence of magical power, the greatest of all was concentrated in her hands. There are only 4 great ducal families in the empire. Arpeggio was one of them, and Rucha is the great aesthete. Her father cried out that it was an opportunity for the future empress to become a descendant of their family, after which he wondered if the girl had gone mad. He asked how she could show her face to a man, and what if rumors started. But after that, the girl only smirked, and insisted that no one would say a word to her face. The lady also asked what difference it made what they said about her behind her back. But the man screamed furiously, how dare she refuse the prince's offer, saying that he was not her type. She doesn't know what an important position the princess has. Then the lady replied that father can take this place. The man asked in shock if she dared to be rude to him. However, the Herzog and the imperial family did not pay attention to Rusia's refusal. They decided to betroth her to the prince, and for this reason, the girl ran away. A little while later, someone cried out where the lady had gone, but she was nowhere to be found. The girl eventually married an ordinary gardener, but despite his low origins, the guy was a handsome man. The next day, the handsome savior came to the main character's home, and the girl wonders how he even found her house. The lady sat him down in the kitchen and has been listening to the handsome Viscount's story for 30 minutes. The girl also asks if the one who ran away about the Duchess is her mother, and the gardener is her father, to which the guy replies that yes. And the main character thinks about her dad. She understands that on the outside, he looked normal, but he lacked vitality and stress resistance. Sorry. It was hard for my father to do even simple things, so he fell into eternal sleep early. But her mother always supported her. She claimed that the girl's father was not only very handsome, but also the best husband. Now, the main character thinks that in any case, it doesn't matter, and is interested in whether she is the Duke's granddaughter, to which the guy replies that everything is exactly like that. Hilda closes her mouth in admiration, and realizes that she is of noble blood. The girl understands that she thought that she was an unusual commoner, because noble blood flows through her. But the guy asks if she doesn't believe him, to which the lady replies that she's a little confused, but it sounds a lot like her mother. The guy asks what exactly, and is the lady really saying that Rusha was a powerful witch? The main character answers that no, and she says that she appeared before the prince herself. The lady then says okay and asks if the guy is a viscount. after which everyone calls him by his name a little wrong. The young man claims that he is Rogan Strauss, and the main character says that it is good, and also claims that, first of all, she wants to thank him for saving her. But the lady is still interested in how he managed to time it so well and come to the rescue. The guy replies that he has been watching the lady for a long time. Hilda asks if that is true, and if he saw her hit Finto and how she was taken to prison. To which he replies that even before that, the main character wonders if he really started watching her when her mother fell into eternal sleep. The young man answers that even earlier, the main character wonders if he is really a stalker, even though he is handsome. Rogan says that 7 years after Rusia ran away, the Duke asked him to find the girl, and he made her come back home. But the lady refused. The main character asks why, and then she cries out, "Did the Duke really want to marry her off to a prince again?" Her mother didn't want this to, which the guy replies, "Of course. Rusia didn't want her husband and daughter to be discriminated against in high society." The main character thinks that's understandable. Growing up in high society, whether there is a red liquid flowing in them in the commoner, then the high society will be discriminated against. Well, and among the commoners, they will not be fully accepted. Therefore, isn't it better to live in high society if the result is the same? The guy claims that in any case, the master ordered him to watch how the lady was doing. The main character claims that her mother developed lung cancer, and when this became known, she could not even move her hand. She also says that they did not offer to help, they only watched from the sidelines, but now they decided for no reason to help her. The young man replies that in fact the gentleman wanted to meet her, but he was against it. The main character screams why, and the guy replies that her mother was unhappy living in high society, but did not want to have any relation to the decision with the Duke's family. So she didn't want her daughter to know about her origin and write him a letter. He wanted to follow her will, but the lady was in danger. The main character claims that the top was her mother's wish, but her dreams are different from hers. The guy wonders if the lady really wants to become part of the Duke's family, but the girl asks if anyone doesn't want that, and she has a chance, so why refuse? The Viscount replies that the life of an aristocrat is not what a lady might imagine. Many will not welcome her in high society, but the main character claims that it would be fair to give the gay a chance to form her own opinion first. The guy continues and claims that no one will take her side, and everyone will call her names and make fun of her. Also, aristocrats often have to risk their lives for the sake of their family. The main character replies that she knows, but the Viscount replies that it is not an answer. If she knew, she would not have said so. Hilda wonders why he is angry with her, and does he really not want her to be part of the Duke's family? Or does he think that she is not worthy of it? But the girl thinks that he doesn't understand anything at all, after which she asks if he thinks that Fintoy would have behaved the same way if she were from high society. And also, if he weren't a Viscount, then Finto's father would have listened to him and would have let her go so easily. The girl claims that she wants power, because he doesn't know what power he has, because he always had it. The lady also wonders if she's insulting him now or scolding him, but she still thinks that this guy doesn't know how scared a young girl is to live alone, and what she goes through every day. The lady is afraid of this, and now he is telling her to give up the power that can make her not worry anymore. The brunette then replies that he understands, and their conversation has gone wrong. The Duke wishes to see the lady because he wants to check. Was the power transferred from Rusia? The main character says what it means if everything is so. Then she will be warmly welcomed into the Duke's family, to which the guy replies that yes, but it's not certain. If she doesn't have the strength, then he won't be able to watch over the ice anymore, and that means he won't come to the rescue. The main character is surprised after this and wonders if he really wants her to weigh the pros and cons. But he doesn't understand anything at all, and the lady wonders what will happen if she has no strength and whether she will return home. But the girl also thinks that if she has strength and remembers the words of her mother. The woman said that time cannot be turned back, but now the main character understands that she must at least try. The guy claims that the Duke does not want to see her out of warm feelings, but he wonders if even knowing this, the lady wants to meet him. The girl then looks resolutely at the Viscount and replies, "Of course." The Duke's estate is located nearby and can be reached by carriage in 4 days. Well, the girl understands that it seems that Rogan is driving the horses tirelessly, and he hasn't even stopped for the night. They even sleep in the cart. but since it is of high quality, the girl slept well. However, she still felt uncomfortable. And when the main character gets up, who thinks that there is such a strange atmosphere there? By and large, it's all because of Rogan, and the lady is wondering how she can sleep peacefully while in a cramped place with a strange guy. It would be better if they both tried to sleep, but he doesn't think to do that. And doesn't even look sleepy. The main character then turns to the guy and asks why he isn't sleeping, but the Viscount replies that she doesn't have to worry, because it won't affect him much if he doesn't sleep for a couple of nights. Hilda realizes that she doesn't worry about him and only doesn't trust herself. After all, you never know if she'll start snoring or chattering her teeth in her sleep. And the lady also wonders how she can fall asleep when this guy can't take his eyes off her. A little while later, the main character is already sleeping and snoring. The guy pays attention to this. But at that very moment, the lady wakes up and asks puzzled if she had been snoring. The young man looks back at the book and replies that it's okay. For these shocked thinks, how could he say such a thing? And it would be better to simply answer that she snored. Hilda did not think that she would be able to sleep and does not believe herself. When they first met, the girl thought that this would be the last shameful story he would hear. But now she is ashamed as hell, and the lady understands that she is only showing her bad side. But she didn't see a single unsightly detail in him. The girl also understands that this guy just like her didn't wash. But the main character wonders why his skin doesn't shine, but his hair is still clean and shiny. Hilda thinks that this is unfair, and then decides not to show her bad side anymore. Well, at that very moment, drowsiness takes over, and the lady lying back in bed thinks that she doesn't care, and let him see all her negative sides. A little while later, they arrive at the duchy, and the main character is living in a luxurious setting. She understands that the place where she lived really was a hole. In such a big city, ordinary workers probably get paid a lot. Well then, the main character turns away and thinks that now she is the Duke's granddaughter, and she shouldn't think about it. The brunette claims that the lady doesn't have to worry, because they haven't arrived yet, to which the lady replies that she does. And since she is now an aristocrat, she must be elegant. My boyfriend says that she should start with herself, and also to tidy up the tangled hair, after which the main character is surprised. Well, and then she claims that her mother told her differently, and elegance comes from within, so it cannot be created with external attributes. The guy then smiles and gets up from his seat. He sits down next to the main character, which surprises her. Looking at the guy, Hilda thinks that he is too handsome, and her heart will not stand it if he sits down so unexpectedly every time. The lady also thinks why he smells so nice, gets it at this time comb, and tells Hilda not to turn around. After all, he combs her hair, but the lady replies that it is all tangled too, which the guy replies that he knows. And Hilda says she is ashamed. When the young man begins to comb her hair, then the lady understands that he does it very gently. And maybe it's worth mentioning that he's doing a good job. Hilda thinks she likes the way this guy combs his hair. Her hair. After all, after her mother plunged into eternal sleep, no one did that. The main character then asks if this is not the first time he has combed someone's hair, to which the guy replies that yes, and this has happened before. Hilda, in shock, asks how many girls he had before her. Well, the guy just tells the lady to look forward, or her hair will get tangled. After which, he also claims that he had a dog with long hair. And now the main character asks in shock, is he really comparing her to a dog? To which he replies that he was just answering a question. Hilda thinks she doesn't even know whether she should breathe a sigh of relief or be offended. At the same moment, the guy finishes combing her hair and says, "Everything is ready." The lady looking at her beautiful hair is surprised and says that he did a good job. She also asks if there is anything he is bad at, or maybe some weaknesses, to which the guy replies that he doesn't have that. Hilda says what a pity, and thinks that they will still watch this, because one day she will find Rogan's weak spot, and it will be fair. The lady also asks if she will be able to meet other relatives in the duchy, because she was told that you and your mother have older and younger brothers, as well as a sister. The guy replies that yes, and they will be in the townhouse at that time. The Duke has received his report, so he should be in the main residence. Hilda asks if the other family members don't know that she is coming too, which the guy replies that not yet, or the lady is wondering if she will only meet the Duke today. Rogan responds by asking if she is offended, to which the girl replies that yes and no. But the Viscount insists that there is no need to be upset, since it is better for her not to meet with them. No one will be happy with a lady. The main character asks if he has to say that, and maybe they will really like her. The guy replies that yes, and of course it's good to have hope, but then silence falls between them. Hilda turns around and thinks that she shouldn't give up, because at least the Duke will be glad to see her. Of course, it depends on whether she received powers from her mother or not, but she will soon find out because they are already not far from the castle. The main character looking at the Duke's castle thinks how beautiful it looks. When the Viscount opens the door for her, he tells the lady to be careful. He also extends his hand to her. And the main character thinks that she feels like a dino alley, and then realizes that she needs to come to her senses. And also, don't act like a redneck, and don't look around with your mouth open. A little while later, the servants greet the lady, and the girl thinks that she feels a little uncomfortable when people bow to her. After which she even wonders if aristocrats always feel this way. At this time, Bacon asks if the Duke has arrived, to which the servants answer that he has, and that he is now in the library. His lordship ordered them to be taken to a small reception room as soon as they arrived. The main character thinks whether they are talking about a small reception room, and it turns out that there is only one more. To believe this means that she does not yet deserve to be accepted into the big reception room. The main character then says that if she is not respected so much, then can she at least go to the bathroom? But when everyone is surprised, the girl thinks, is she speaking too directly? Hilda, with a smile on her face, asks if she can't go to the bathroom either, after which she says that's fine, and she'll manage. After all, if it's difficult for them, she doesn't want to put them in an awkward position. The butler immediately bows and says that, of course, the lady can take a bath, and he will also show her a place where she can change clothes. When the main character is about to follow them, the Viscount suddenly grabs her hand. The girl turns around and asks what is going on, after which the guy approaches her, and he whispers in her ear that if the servants treat her badly, then the latter will immediately tell him. Hilda asks if he is really worried about her now, and the guy replies that he did say that they would treat her well in this house. Hilda replies that she knows and wonders if she has ever thought that if something like this happens, she will sit back and do nothing. But the guy remembers how the lady beat one of the nobles and claims that she should not beat the servants. Hilda asks if he really thinks that she is some kind of bandit. Rogan only remains silent in response to this, and the main character understands that this look says that this is indeed the case. A little while later, the girl goes into the bathroom and, looking at it, thinks that it is gorgeous. The bottle alone is equal to her monthly salary. The lady also touches the water and realizes that Rogan was scaring her so much. That's why she already thought that the bath would be cold, but it seems that they won't make fun of her at the bottom because they filled it with warm water. After which, the main character lies down in the bath and thinks that this is the life of an aristocrat. But being one of them is simply wonderful, and no matter what happens, she will definitely become an aristocrat. But at that very moment, someone enters the room and apologizes. The main character screams in surprise. Well, the maid asks if she can help the lady with anything, to which she replies that she cannot, but thanks her. The maid agrees and states that she will be in the room next door, so if the lady needs help, she should call, to which the girl agrees. But when the maid leaves, Hilda wonders if there really is a door there, and where this maid came from. The girl gets up from the bath and understands that she shouldn't linger there, because she doesn't yet know who will go in there next. When the main character looks behind the screen, she realizes that her clothes are missing, and screams, asking where they went. Hilda looks at the shelf and sees a dress there and wonders if she should change into it. The main character thinks that she should have told her right away, otherwise she almost thought too much. A little while later, the girl is already wearing this dress and realizes that the size is too big. She can't go out in this, so it's better to go to the Saks than like this. Hilda understands that if you don't laugh at the dress, it will fall off completely. At that moment, the lady cries out to the maid and says that she needs help. When the maid enters the room, she asks the mistress what happened. Hilda claims that the clothes are too big and wonders where the ones she came in went. The maid is then puzzled and asks what to do since she has already given the lady's things to the laundry. Hilda asks where her suitcase is, to which the maid replies that she sent all the things from it there. The main character screams that they didn't even say anything, after which she asks if there really isn't a smaller size. The maid replies that in order for the clothes to fit, the maid's clothes will do, and asks whether she should bring them. Hilda then realizes that she has a feeling that this girl is making fun of her. She also wonders if there really wasn't a single thing in the duchy that would fit her size. Hilda asks if it was the Duke, who said that they shouldn't give her clothes, to which the maid replies that it's the other way around, because he ordered them to dress her. But now there is no dress in the estate in a size that would fit the lady. The main character wonders if this is possible. The maid replies that since now, in the season of visiting each other, the crowded dress is in the townhouse. Hilda remains silent after this, but then she turns to the maid and asks her name. The maid replies that her name is Dorothy. Hilda says that it is good, and understands what it means that this girl is her first checkpoint. And it turns out that the maid does not want her to pretend to be an aristocrat, since the blood of commoners flows in her. The main character says that she should wear something else, and asks her to bring it. Hilda understands that she will not give up so easily. A little while later, the main character enters the room of the Viscount, who is reading a book. But when he sees what the lady is wearing, he is surprised. The guy asks what kind of outfit this is, and the main character replies that she doesn't know, and suggests that he ask the maid who gave her things to the laundry. The Viscount asks if the lady had no other clothes, and that is why she put on this. But she just remains silent, after which the guy tells her to wait, and also claims that she needs to immediately send a person so that I can find suitable clothes. Hilda replies that there is no need, because it is evening outside, and the lady asks where they will find shops at such a time. When the young man wants to return, the main character claims that when the Duke sees her in this, he will also understand that she does not belong to this society. The guy then only apologizes and claims that he will report everything to the Duke, so he will definitely punish the maids. Hilda replies that it is not worth it, because this time she will figure it out herself. Rogan asks what she will do, to which the lady replies that she will think about it later, because first she needs to figure out more important problems. Hilda also suggests going because his lordship is waiting for them. The Viscount then sighs, but approaches the lady. He straightens his coat and says that he doesn't know if the lady should go out looking like that, because he's afraid the Duke won't like it. Hilda asks if he'll put her to eternal sleep because of this, and when the guy is silent, the main character tells him not to worry, because the Duke most likely can't wait to check whether she got her strength from her mother. A little while later, the main character enters the Duke's office, and when he sees her, he says that Rush's daughter has arrived. The girl then only bows and greets his lordship, and also claims that her name is Hilda Roos. The man wonders what happened to her clothes, because he ordered her to be given good things. But the main character replies that the dress she received was too big for her. The Duke asks if she is not ashamed to wear men's clothes, to which the lady replies that since there was not a single dress of her size in their castles, she is not ashamed. Them so calmly, Hilda replies that she asked for it herself, and thought it would be better to wear men's clothes than a maid's dress. The main character understands that she came there as his granddaughter, but the man claims that this won't work, after which Rogan enters the conversation and claims that it was his mistake because he should have made sure that the lady had clothes. The Duke just teasks and says that in any case, the girl looks a lot like her mother. Hilda thinks that doesn't sound like a compliment, but she still thanks the Duke and claims that she has often heard this. The man then claims that this means that she must take after her mother in strength, after which he sighs and tells the lady to come and sit there. Hilda sighs with relief and realizes that he has closed his eyes to the clothes. The man claims that the lady must have heard from Ostrich how great a sorceress her mother was. Hilda replies that yes, but she has never seen her use magic. The Duke claims that in 100 years, no one has been born with such great powers, as she and the lady knows that the foundation of their empire is magic. The stronger the forces, the more noble the family. Hilda understands that even though she was a commoner, she knows it. The imperial family founded Melbourne. They had great magical power, and all the aristocrats were their descendants. But over time, the ties weakened, and even among the aristocrats, there are no more powerful magicians. The girl often heard travelers talking about this in the tavern, and now there are rumors that the emperor's heir has no magical abilities, or they say that he may not be the emperor's son. The Duke claims that if the lady proves that she has the blood of a true aristocrat in her veins, he is ready to accept her into the family. Hilda wonders how she can prove this, and whether she needs to learn magic and show him. The man replies that there is a faster way, and suggests that the lady look in one direction. When the girl looks there, she sees some kind of scroll, and the man asks if she can read it. Hilda asks if she can't, they won't accept her. The Duke notes that these are runes, and they are the language used in magic. He also reads the spell, after which the main character repeats, and these two are shocked. The girl thinks why they were so surprised, and the Viscount claims that she can repeat it. Hilda replies that she is not that stupid. The young man says that those who do not have magical abilities cannot repeat or read the runes for ordinary people. It would sound like some kind of noise. After this, the main character asks with admiration if she really has magical powers. She also claims that she should have told him from the beginning that she was so worried. But the Duke claims that even those with very weak magical powers can read the runes, and if her powers are limited to the simplest, then they will not be able to accept her into the family. Hilda wonders what else she should do, after which the man turns to the girl and says that she will have to stay in the castle and spend the night. The main character asks what else needs to be done, and the man replies that that's all. The lady is surprised by this and wonders if she really just needs to sleep there, after which she even thinks that it is as easy as pie. But a little while later, the girl is already looking at the castle and claims that it looks as if ghosts are about to fly out of it. The guy replies that it will be so, which surprises the lady, and she cries out, "Are they really pushing her into the lair of ghosts?" The Viscount claims that he did talk about it, but to be more precise, these are evil spirits. Hilda understands that it would be better for her to spend the night in some ruins and thinks what relation does a house with evil spirits have to magic? Hilda thinks that there is nothing simple in this world. The day before, the lady asked what castle the Duke was talking about. The guy sighed after this and also said that Obletai came to him because he would pour her tea, to which the girl agreed. She also understood that this guy was both handsome and well-mannered. And when Rogan poured tea, he claimed that the Night Castle had long been used by aristocrats for the ceremony of entering adulthood. It's in the east of Melbourne. Hilda asks if there is a ceremony to enter adulthood, and if you have to stay there overnight. The girl also thought that everything was as simple as possible for aristocrats, but the guy replied that it was not so. Hilda asked if he had read her thoughts, to which the guy replied that he had understood from her eyes. He also claimed that at night, evil spirits Ma appear in the castle, and these are evil spirits of the highest rank. So to resist them, the aristocrats use magic. Hilda only sighed after that and thought how difficult it was, after which she asked what this had to do with the coming-of-age ceremony. The guy answered that the stronger the magic, the stronger the connection with the aristocracy. Evil spirits obey the strong. The main character asked if spending the night there would be proof that she was a powerful sorceress, to which the guy replied that everything was correct. And then the lady asked, what if she turned out to be not exactly strong enough? The Viscount replied that according to the records, if one does not sit down long enough, the person who enters falls into eternal sleep, goes mad, or takes his own life. Hilda tells him to wait a minute and asks if there are any like that now, to which the guys answer that there aren't any. The girl sighs after this and thinks that it means everything is not so dangerous. But the young man claims that since there are no more strong magicians, they stopped holding ceremonies. The main character is shocked by this and wonders if it turns out that the Duke is sending his granddaughter, whom he just met, to such a dangerous place. Rogan claims that if she doesn't want to, she can always refuse. The girl asks if this means giving up the title of aristocrat, after which the guy just remains silent. A short time later, he claims that Rusha spent a whole week there. The main character is surprised by this and understands that she should be happy about the Duke's desire for her to spend only the night there. But then the girl lies down and claims that she doesn't understand anything. If she knew at least some spells, she wouldn't be so worried. The guy then claimed that if I had strong magical powers embedded in me, then the lady would quickly be able to learn 1 or 2 spells. The girl asked if this was true, after which the young man claimed that all wizards can be divided into groups. He belongs to the category of sounds and uses very special magic, after which he casts a spell, and the main character thinks what kind of incredible sound magic this is. But at that moment, she realizes that she can't speak. When the guy snaps his fingers and calls off the spell, he claims that this is his power. Hilda says that she thought that magic was something more beautiful and exciting. She also asks how she can find out her affiliation, to which the guy replies that she will have to make an effort. The girl then says that his advice is of no use, and also asks what category her mother belonged to. The guy replies that Rusha belonged to the water category, and he heard that the lady often used freezing magic. The main character asks if she belongs to this category too, but the Viscount replies that this is not hereditary and depends more on character and preferences. The lady then thinks about it and realizes that her mother had often told her about it. She claimed that water, although it looks weak, is capable of cutting through iron and moving the earth, so such power suits her very well. The main character also wonders how it happened that Rogan belongs to the sound category, and is it because he likes to give instructions? The girl also wonders what the most spell from the water category is, after which he thinks, and also spills tea and claims that he can't do what her mother could. Well, he does cast a spell, and the water starts to rise a little. The main character is surprised by this, and with admiration asks if he will teach her. The guy answers that she should feel the energy and direct it to what she wants to do. Hilda wonders how to do it, and the guy replies that you need to try several times, and that's the only way it will work, because you have to feel it to understand. Hilda decides to try and repeat the spell after this, but nothing works. The girl tries again, but still fails, and she wonders if it is possible that she does not have magical powers. Hilda also says that learning magic in a day will not get her into the council she wants too much, but her interlocutor claims that the lady should think about her character. Hilda asks what kind of person she has, after which the guy casts the main spell from the fire category. He claims that if a lady wants to get sparks, she should try again. The main character then repeats, but nothing happens. Then the lady sighs and also claims that she did say that she has no strength. Well, at that very moment, the lady feels somehow strange and wonders what is wrong with her body. Because it seems to boil, the guy immediately gets up from his seat and screams at the lady, after which he grabs her and asks if she is okay. Hilda replies that she is, and also looks at the floor with blue flames and wonders what happened. When they try to put out this flame, the lady realizes that the flame created by magic is not so easy to get rid of. The fire went out only when all the furniture had burned down, and on the day when the lady was supposed to spend the night in the guy's castle, he claims that it was difficult to put out the fire. Hilda understands that her interlocutor was thinking about the same thing as she, after which the lady asks if this doesn't mean that she has enough magical power. The guy replies that yes, and this is a positive sign, and the lady tells him not to worry too much, because yesterday she remembered something. Her mother said something about a night castle. The guy then happily asks if Rusha really said something about the lady about the castle, and if she gave any clues. Well, the main character replies that her mother told her that when she enters the castle, tear everyone apart with this fist. The girl claims that while working in the tavern, she carried several beer mugs at a time, which is why she is so confident. The guy then answers not very happily that yes, and the main thing is not to lose heart. But then he smiles and says that in any case, he hopes that the lady will return in perfect order. Hilda thinks that she feels like she is going to war, after which she even thanks the guy, and also says that he will return soon. When the lady enters the castle, she apologizes for the intrusion. She also looks around and realizes that she thought it would be more beautiful there. But when the lady goes up the stairs, she thinks that it is so dark there that she needs to watch her step. At that moment, the lady sees some portrait and wonders if this is the owner of the castle. When the girl moves on, she thinks that there is nothing scary there, so she worried in vain. When the main character goes further, she understands that she needs to go to bed quickly, because if she falls asleep sooner, she will wake up sooner. The lady also thinks where the bedroom is, and when she goes to the window, she thinks that it is dark there, but then she also sees Rogan's cart and wonders why she is still there, and if he is worried about her. The girl also asks if Rogan is really going to stand near the castle all night, watching if she is okay. And the main character thinks, does he really not believe in her that much? Well, at that very moment, someone asks, what's so interesting about it? The girl immediately turns around and asks who is there, but at that very moment, someone approaches her from behind. And he wonders if the lady doesn't know how to use magic. The girl is shocked and screams, "What is this?" She asks where this creature is and suggests not to joke with her. But at that very moment, someone grabs her hand and claims that he will cut it off and eat it. Another monster claims that he will take the hair, and the main character wonders what is going on there. After which, she sees something that looks like a ferret and goes after it. She understands that first she needs to catch at least one, and then find out what is happening. But at that very moment, one of the monsters grabs her by the hand and pulls her down the stairs. When the lady falls, her lamp breaks and her hand is injured. Hilda thinks that it is terrible because the lamp broke and she can't see anything, and also injured her hand. But at the same moment, one of the monsters says what a fool she is and claims that this is nothing. Hilda wonders if they are really having fun, but it hurts her to the point of tears. So the girl thinks that they made her angry and she just wants to become an aristocrat and live peacefully. But she wonders why there are so many problems on the way. A good grandfather would not have sent his granddaughter to such a bad place, and would not have told the servants that she grew up in a village among commoners. Evil spirits would not have played with her like this, and the handsome viscount would not have behaved like this all the time. She would have been able to immediately understand whether he was on the sidelines or getting married. Well, the main character thinks whether this can be done to her, and why she has to prove anything to anyone. Lady realizes that her mother is Arpeggio, and she is her daughter. At this time, another monster sticks its paw into her. Well, the main character at that very moment grabs him and then throws him. One of the monsters screams, "What is this?" and claims that this girl is crazy and so they need to run away. But the lady raises her hand and asks if they are going to run away from her. The lady also thinks that she no longer needs these stupid conversations, because instead of them, she uses her fist and the night in the castle has just begun. The guy is near the carriage at this time. He sighs and realizes that the villagers and aristocrats who are just learning magic don't come anywhere near this castle at night. So he thinks that Hilda shouldn't have gone after all, because she only recently learned simple magic, and he thinks that it was a bad idea. Well, at that very moment, the guy notices some light inside and wonders why it became so light. When he looks at the mansion, he wonders what is going on inside. The monsters are sitting in the corner and shaking. One of them asks how this happened, since the lady couldn't use magic. And the other one claims that he is scared because this lady is not stupid, but simply crazy. The main character at this time goes down the corridor and asks where the guys went, because if they come out now, they will get 1 hit, and if not, then 10. One of the monsters asks what to do, and maybe they should ask her for forgiveness. But the other one answers that, at dawn, the lady will leave herself, and they just have to hold out until then. Well, then another one claims that Russia was there for a whole week, and wonders what if she stays there too. Another one wonders if they think these girls look alike. After which, all three are completely shocked. One of them asks if Russia also had light hair, and the other replies, "The States can't believe it, many people have hair that color." At this time, the main character notices the monsters, after which they start screaming. Hilda claims that because of them, she was unable to go to bed early and had to walk and search. A little while later, she sits down and asks if the puma will wave normally, or if he will marry her, after which he apologizes. The main character thinks that this night castle is a real joke, because she was so worried. Lady also looks at the other monsters and tells them to stop because she feels uncomfortable with them standing like that. Hilda asks if they will take human form and wonders why they are not even wearing clothes. One of them claims that if they were evil spirits of the highest rank, they could, but they don't have enough strength, and that's why they can't become people. The main character then menacingly asks if it really means that they won't be able to heal her hand, and Puma claims that only good spirits can heal. The girl then says that they are of no use, and the monsters apologize. Hilda also says that she heard that they bully and torture people without magical abilities, so she thought that they had them, and the ladies ask if they can do anything. But then one of the monsters screams for the man to hold his tongue, because the milk hasn't even dried off her lips yet, and she can't even use magic normally. The main character immediately furiously asks what he is talking about, and also tells the spirit to think what he is saying. After all, she hasn't learned to control her powers yet, so she can fry him. Another spirit decides to change the subject and claims that in order to save himself, he will teach Letty to use her powers. Another also claims that he can teach magic in 4 months, and no matter how close the lady is. Also, his category is fire, so he can be useful. Well, the main character asks if this is true, because he can't even turn into a human, and if he comes out like that, then everyone will run away. But the monster asks what she's talking about. The main character claims that he said that the training would take 4 months, and then he should go with her, because she doesn't want to live in this crumbling castle. But another monster tells the lady that they can't leave this castle without a contract. The main character asks if that's true, after which the puma replies that everything is exactly like that, because they share their power with them and they serve them, so both benefit. Hilda asks if she doesn't even have to sell her soul for this, to which he replies that of course she wouldn't, if she didn't answer. They're not such evil spirits. Well, the girl says that if that's the case, then why didn't her mother sign a contract with them? One of the monsters asks who her mother is, to which the lady replies that it is Rutia Rus, or better yet, Rutia Arpeggio. One of the spirits cries out, "Is this really so?" And the other cries out, "Now everything is clear, because she is the daughter Ruchi, and this lady have the blood of this crazy woman in them." The main character tells them to wait a minute and asks what her mother did. One of the monsters claims that she was mocking them, and they had to jump like rabbits, from one wall to another. The main character asks if they really refused the contract, to which her interlocutor replies that it is not quite true, that Rusha said that she is not sure whether she will be able to raise pets. The main character then wonders if they are talking about pets, but she realizes that it is scary to even look at them. The girl says okay, but the problem is that in this form, he won't be able to go with her, to which the monster replies that he can't turn into a human, but he can easily turn into other forms. The main character asks what the wolf transforms into, and when the girl opens her eyes, then he sees a puppy in front of him. The monster at this time asks if she saw it, because it is an ideal conspiracy. Well, at that very moment, Hilda picks him up and says, "What a cute puppy he is." Well, the monster screams that this is too much, after which the lady claims that she is ready to sign a contract with such a cute puppy. But the monster shouts that he is a strong wolf. However, the main character only tells him to go with her. A little while later, Rogan asks who it is, to which the main character replies, "A puppy." And when the Viscount asks why she brought him, the lady replies that she will raise him. Rogan says that it's so unexpected, and the lady replies that they made a contract, after which the guy asks if she really made a contract with a puppy. The monster immediately screams, so that stupid people don't call him a puppy, and asks how many times he says that he is a strong wolf. Hilda says that it is good, and claims that this is the spirit of Ma, with whom she made a contract, and he will also teach her magic. The guy at this time claims that according to old records, there were magicians who made a contract with the spirits of Mott, and he thinks that they will keep it a secret from the others. Hilda asks why, and wonders if the Duke will like it that she made a contract with a spirit. The Viscount claims that her assignment was to spend the night in the castle, so there is no need for him to know that a contract was made with Marcel. Hilda thinks that she agrees, and does not want to attract unnecessary attention. But the lady thinks why Rogan is against it, after which the lady says that maybe he doesn't want the Duke to acknowledge her as his granddaughter. The lady also thinks that maybe he doesn't want her to have power, because she is a commoner, and also worries that she will only bring trouble to the duchy. The guy at this time replies that, yes, and he does not want that. He also tells the lady to give him the puppy, so that he can take care of it before the Duke makes his decision. Hilda realizes that she thought so, and does not understand what she hoped for. The lady turns to the Viscount and assumes that he did not return to his place at night, and the guy replies that yes, he was there too. The girl wonders why and whether the Duke ordered him to watch her. In response to this, the guy only remains silent, and the lady turns around and claims that she will keep the puppy for herself, because the Viscount does not have enough strength, and with her, one of the ranks, he will be safe. Hilda thinks that even though Rogan is her grandfather's man, does he really have to always watch over her? But the more she thinks about it, the more angry she becomes. A little while later, the main character enters the Duke's office. The man claims that he didn't really expect it, and it's amazing that she succeeded, after which he invites the lady to sit down, and she thinks how annoying this is, and says that it seems the Viscount has already reported everything to him. But the man asks if she is talking about Ostrich, because he hasn't called him yet, after which the girl asks how he knows that she succeeded. The Duke replies that of course he introduced the observer, and how he would understand that the lady was not lying to him. Hilda wonders why then Rogan behaved like that yesterday. And was it really his devotion to the Duke that made him watch her all night? The girl also wonders if he is his slave, and also says that the Duke should not do this to the Viscount. After all, if he was going to introduce an observer, then shouldn't he have told him? And then the Viscount wouldn't have spent the whole night in front of the castle. Well, the man claims that Strauss knew about the observer, and wonders if he didn't tell her anything. The main character Datova is surprised, and then thinks why Rogan stood in front of the castle all night, and maybe he was worried about her, and she didn't even guess. The lady even dared to say a taunt to him without guessing anything, after which the girl understands that she will burn with shame and wonders why he didn't tell her that everything was wrong. At this time, the Duke says that the lady is a good girl because she managed to spend the night there, and their main character thanks him. The man claims that the lady deserves to become an arpeggio, and now she will have to learn magic. Hilda understands that he does not look at her as a granddaughter, but as a person with whom it is profitable to cooperate. At this time, the girl asks if this means that she will now officially become part of the family. The Duke replies that of course, and he has already ordered a room to be prepared for her, and will soon call a man who will bring it in her in the register, and also report this to the Emperor, who will introduce her to other members of the family, so she has a lot to learn. Let the lady study diligently, so that no one will understand that she grew up among commoners. The main character wonders what it means, so that no one will understand. And the man claims that she must prove not only with her abilities that she is arpeggio, but also with her close speech and even her gait, after which he rises from his chair and tells the lady to enjoy the life of an aristocrat. After all, now she is arpeggio's daughter. The lady thinks that she has finally become an aristocrat as she has long wanted. That's why she still doesn't believe it, and it turned out to be a simple matter, because all she had to do was get the Duke's recognition, and the proof was not based on family ties, but only on abilities. But for some reason, she feels empty inside. Hilda asks if he will give her a reward, because this time she tried very hard. The man asks if she really tried, and the lady replies that she did, and she wants to receive 2 awards, after which the Duke invites her to speak. The lady replies that she wants the Night Castle to be hers. Hilda understands that since it is an abandoned building that no one needs, everything should be fine. And if she asks for another castle, then there may be trouble with other family members, but no one will be offended for his sake. Besides, if she has the castle, then no one will have any doubts that she has magical powers, and she has nothing to brag about. Besides, that's why it will be beneficial. The Duke also understood this and asked if the lady really wanted the Night Castle, after which he claimed that it belonged to the imperial family. Hilda replies that she heard that they don't hold ceremonies there anymore, so she wonders why the imperial family needs this castle and that they shouldn't have a body before. If she offers to buy it, they'll give it to her for half the price. The Duke states that he will think about it, after which he asks what other reward the lady wants. The girl realizes that there is one thing she was thinking about as soon as she came to the Duke. This is the maid who took her things and offered them clothes. Now the girl asks if he will allow her to say a few words to the servants and understands that she will show them who is the mistress there. A little while later, the main character asks if everyone is here, to which one of the servants replies that they are all the castle's employees, except for those who are in the capital. Hilda understands that she is not interested in them, after which the girl asks if they had already heard about her on the day of her arrival. Then they sent all her things to be washed, which caused trouble, and she realized that they would not leave her alone. They also wanted her to wear a maid's clothes when she went to the Duke in that form. The maid who put the laundry in claims that it was indeed a mistake. Well, the main character wonders who allowed her to interrupt the hostess, because there is no forgiveness for the fact that they climbed into her bag without permission. The maid immediately falls to the floor and screams asking for forgiveness, and also claiming that this will not happen again. Hilda asks if she really regrets it, to which the maid replies that yes, she committed a very grave sin, so she asks for forgiveness. Hilda still says that she will give Dorothy a chance. She understands that it is most likely not only her fault, but the girl simply agreed with others. After all, she has the lowest status, so the girl is sure that someone else took care of this. And the one who could come up with this plan was most likely Henry's maid. The main character claims that she will give them all a chance. The one who took her bag, and the one who got her washed clothes back, and also the one who monitored everything and reported. If they have anything to do with this, then they have a chance to apologize before midnight, because if they do, she will forgive them. At this time, the maids begin to whisper among themselves, and the main character claims that she will also give 10 coins to each one who confesses. The lady understands that this is not much, but it is not a small amount for the maids. They can go to the tavern and shout that they are getting paid today. But that will be enough. They won't sell their relationship with the elder for 10 coins, after which the main character claims that now she has the most important conversation. People claim that if they are denounced, 20 coins will be deducted from their salary. If they do not come by midnight for hours, then 50 coins. Hilda understands that everyone is looking around, and 50 coins is about half of the maid's salary, but that's not all. The main character claims that the last one to come will be fired, and claims that that's all, so let them think carefully. The girl then remembers something else, and understands that it is absolutely necessary to say this since they look at her as a servant. After which the lady claims that the Duke approved of this, and if they are going to talk to him about this, it is better not to do so. A little while later, the lady was telling Regine about what she did while sitting in the reception area waiting for the maids to arrive. Dorothy was the first to crawl in, and Hilda, as she promised, forgave her. But after Dorothy left, no one showed up for 2 hours. Rogan asks if they will come and claims that the pride of the Duke's maids is too majestic. It is comparable to the pride of the Duke, and the main character claims that she already understood this, so she will wait. After all, they need time to think it over. The lady also understands that they are now watching each other, but only one maid is needed. If one of them comes, it will be easier, and everyone will think that they were reported. The more there are of those, the stronger the pressure will be on the remaining ones, after which the main character hears someone knocking on the room. And he understands what started, after which he tells the person behind the door to come in. Rogan realizes that it is amazing, but Hilda managed to carry out her plan. 2 maids came together, and rumors started to spread. One of them screamed that she had carried the bag, but she didn't know what the plan was, and another claimed that she had prepared the maid's clothes. Then another claimed that Henry's maid had said that there were no other dresses, and she believed her. Everyone reported everything to the lady in detail, and the main character now sighs and also thinks that they should have come one by one to attack. They all showed up together, and it's not interesting. A little while later, someone else knocks on the door, and the girl tells that person to come in. A maid with red hair comes in and says that she was wrong, then let her be punished and the others forgiven. Hilda says that this is not bad, and the worst person sacrifices himself for others. The woman replies that she knows she was wrong, and the main character claims that she has already been reported. Therefore, 20 coins will be deducted from her salary, and the girl asks if she agrees. The maid asks if that's all, to which the main character replies that it is. Henry asks if that's all, and the main character replies that yes, after which the maid leans over and claims that she started all this and wonders if the lady would have forgiven her if she had come first. Hilda replies that yes, and she did promise. And it didn't matter to her whether the main instigator would come first, or if they didn't answer after midnight, everyone would lose 50 coins. This maid thought that she would be fired, so she left silently, and after that, the other maids came. Hilda thinks that Henry probably made them. The Viscount, watching the lady, realized that he was worried whether the lady had made too drastic a decision, but she did everything right, because even Henry left in bewilderment, so the guy thinks that this is very strange. A little while later, someone tells him that the girl has caused a lot of noise. After all, she hasn't even been in the Arfeggio family for a week, and already she's behaving as she pleases. The Viscount replies that she hasn't caused much of a stir, to which the man replies that no, and since even he found out about it, because Graham told him about it, it means it is important. The guy at this time thinks whether the butler is really reporting to him, and the Duke is only interested in what the lady is going to do with Henry. The guy replies that she asked to deduct 20 coins from her salary. The man says that it was not a very big punishment, but still it was reasonable. The main thing is that Tarina doesn't make an enemy out of her. Rogan sighs after that and realizes that he doesn't know for sure. Well, I'm sure Henry serves the Duke's wife, whose name is Tarina. If Tarina fired Henry, she would treat her as an enemy before they even met. The Duke then says that the guy should teach the girl everything, because it will be difficult to find better teachers. The Viscount asks if the Duke is talking about him, and the man replies that they seem to have already become friends, to which the guys reply that this is not so. But the man says that he knows that he is not the one who will plot anything, after which he also offers to give the letter to Graham because it is for the Emperor. Rogan asks if it concerns Hilda, to which the man replies that yes, she needs to be entered into the house register. He is glad that Rusha's daughter is so similar to her, and if only the girl would take after her useless father, it wouldn't have worked. A little while later, the Viscount walks down the corridor and realizes that it would have hurt Hilda to hear those words, but then he realizes that she would most likely have even turned her table over, and maybe he should have answered himself, using the Duke's words. When a guy stops near the window, he wonders if he can change anything because of some feelings. Compared to other girls, Naledi talks a lot and expresses her feelings too actively, sometimes even resorting to mudslinging. So the guy thinks what could attract him to her. After which, the guy enters the room and sees Hilda. The girl looks at her legs and wonders why they hurt so much. And the Viscount, seeing this, she understands that she lacks aristocratic stateliness, but still such a light and free image suits her very well. At this time, the main character notices that someone has entered the room and is approaching Rogan. She asks if he has finished his business for today, to which he replies that yes, and asks what the lady is doing there. Hilda replies that she wanted to apologize to him. The guy asks if that's really the case, to which the lady replies that yes, and that night, when he was waiting for her from the castle, she said that he didn't have much strength, but in fact he was waiting for her because he was worried. The Viscount tells her not to worry about it, but the lady asks why and insists that she wants to know. She got it all wrong and she's really sorry. The guy claims that if His Highness had ordered him to follow her, he would have done so. Hilda replies that in any case, it doesn't matter. Now what matters is that she was grateful. After all, the Viscount was worried about her. The guy only replies that he obeys the Duke, and if he tells him to throw the lady out, then he will do so. So there is no need to thank him. Well, the main character says that this is later, but now she is grateful to him for the experience. Although he didn't receive an order, he decided to stay. Rogan realizes that the girl puts him in an awkward position. Hilda is not fit for high society, no matter how much he thinks about it. But despite his warnings, she entered the Duke's house on her own, and someone must help her stay there for a long time. At this time, the girl turns to the Viscount and claims that simply apologizing with words is not very good. So if he has time, Hilda asks if he would like to go for a walk with her. The guy replies that it is very late now, but the lady just smiles back at him, and he says that now is the time. A little while later, they are already at the table. The brunette, looking at the dish, asks if she cooked it herself, to which she replies, of course. She made this apple pie using her secret recipe, and it is her secret weapon. Hilda thought about what to make for Rogan as an apology and made an apple pie, which she was most confident in. After making one to try, the cook even wrote down her recipe, and she learned to cook this pie by watching her dad make it. So the Viscount will probably like it, but the guy says there's no point in trying so hard. Hilda asks why, after which he remains silent, and then screams out that an aristocrat should not cook herself. So next time, let her ask the maids, and what if the cooks are offended by the one who takes their work away from them? The girl replies that she shared the pie, and they looked at her as if they wanted her to give them another piece. Well, when the guy wants to say something else, the main character screams for him to stop scolding her. When a guy starts chewing, the lady thinks that it's better this way and let him eat in peace. Rogan asks if the lady made apple pie as an apology, to which she replies that he guessed, and she thought that was her best dish. The guy says that she should not show off her talent anymore. Well, at that very moment, he smells another aroma and wonders if it's cinnamon. Hilda replies yes, and says that he found out Rogan also says that there is something else there besides apples. The main character replies that there are dates in the tea, after which the guy claims that this is the first time he has drunk such tea. Hilda asks if that's true, and claims she dried apples and made date extract this morning. Rogan wonders if it's just for 1 cup of tea, to which the lady replies that yes, she wanted him to understand that he really felt sorry for hers. The guy claims that there is no need to apologize to him, since he is only following orders. Hilda thinks she didn't like hearing it before, but if she thinks about it, it would be easier for Rogan not to create a barrier between them, and he will make her follow him and obey. But the guy is not like that, so she can trust him. At this time, the brunette says that she should no longer invite the maids to the table, just as we prepare food in the kitchen. Well, if the lady wants some special food, let her let him know Hilda thinks he seems to like her pie. The guy claims that if she doesn't know something, or if there are any difficulties, then let the girl ask him, because he will help her adapt there. The main character asks if this is the Duke's order, but the guy remains silent in response. After which, the girl turns to Rogan and asks if he is on her side. Hilda understands that this straightforward man will not give the answer she expects, and will only say that he will follow the Duke's orders. The guy at this time, he claims that if this does not go against the order of His Highness, then he will always be on her side. The main character is happy about this and asks if this means that they have made peace and will now be friends. Rogan smiles at this and claims that he still hasn't thanked her because it was the most delicious pie he's ever eaten. A little while later, the guy comes out of the bathroom and also realizes that he didn't want to hurt Hilda. When he ate the pie, he might not have been a viscount for her, and she an aristocrat. Now the guy thinks he wants to be on her side. And in high society, amidst conspiracies and betrayals, he only wants the lady to remain kind, honest, and strong, although he himself could not keep it to himself. A little while later, one of the maids turns to the mistress and says that it is time for her to get up. Hilda asks Dorothy to give her 5 more minutes, but the maid replies that Ostrich is waiting in the study room, and he has ordered the lady to be woken up. The main character thinks how this handsome man loves to grumble. Dorothy claims that she will bring water for washing and is interested in helping the ladies separate. Hilda replies that there is no need, she can handle it herself, and thinks that she is not used to being helped to take a bath and get dressed. Lately, she has been learning to be an aristocrat along with studying magic. And having become a member of the Duke's family, she began to call the boy by his name. Now the lady addresses him, and Rogan asks if she came. Hilda wonders why he doesn't look so sleepy in the morning. The main character also asks if he gets enough sleep, to which the guy replies that he sleeps enough. Hilda asks how many hours, to which the guy replies that it's 4 o'clock, and the main character claims that he will fall into eternal sleep. Rogan claims that he will be able to sleep longer when the girl becomes a real lady of the duchy. Hilda wonders if he really wants to say that it is her fault, although it is, and she has nothing to say. At this point, the guy puts a stack of books on the table and says that in any case, it is necessary to start classes, and also tells the lady to sit down normally, but the girl thinks how lazy she is. At this time, the wolf turns to his mistress and asks why she still needs to study, since she already has the ability. Hilda replies that in order to become an aristocrat, she needed strength, but she doesn't want to learn to be one. The wolf claims that she has no ambitions, although they play an important role. The girl asks what ambitions he is talking about, to which the puppy replies, for example, to conquer the world, after which the main character only laughs. And he claims that if she had such powers, then yes. Well, the wolf says that the mistress should listen, because there is a spell that builds and destroys cities in a day, after which there is silence between them. And the main character asks Rogan what he thinks about this, but the guy only asks what she is talking about. Hilda asks, what if she becomes the great sorceress? But the wolf claims that she might not be able to hold back and burn down the entire empire. The girl at this time thinks whether this grumbler heard how strong she is, and if he does not want the whole world to be destroyed, then let him speak to her more friendly and stop grumbling. The guy claims that even if the lady has great hidden abilities, but will not get used to using magic, and there will be no point. But the main character screams, what kind of smile is this? The Viscount wonders if the lady didn't say that she wasn't interested in studying, and then cries out that she is interested and asks if he doesn't believe it. The guy indifferently replies that of course he believes her, after which the main character gets angry. And she also screams at the puppy, offering to learn, because he is a Big Mac. So let him teach her diligently. Hilda thinks that they will still watch, because she will study hard and become a great sorceress, and then make sure that Rogan respects her as an equal. A little while later, the girl sighs and the puppy asks if she hasn't figured it out. Yet Hilda asks why she can't use magic. Well, the wolf asks how many times he said that runate is the language of the witchcraft world, and the world is like a person with whom she must learn to speak. After which he screams out, so that the lady feels her hidden power and believes in herself. The girl in response screams how to do this, because she says that she does not know and is interested in why he is screaming at his master. The Viscount at this time raises his hand and suggests that they finish here, because this creature is not a small puppy. Hilda in shock asks when they managed to become such friends, and the guy replies that in order to reveal the abilities in oneself, one should try to remember again and try to use magic again. The girl claims that she would not call that result successful, and that it was out of her control, and she was also scared. Well, the guy says that the lady did use magic in the night castle, and wonders if that's not true, so let her try to remember the sensations. The puppy agrees and tells her to try to think about what happened in the castle and what she felt then. Was she scared or curious? And also, did the girl feel brave? The main character at this time thinks about this and realizes that she felt dissatisfaction. After all, they were teasing her and grabbing her hands, after which silence hangs between them. And the wolf asks the man why all people lately like to use force, to which he replies that only his mistress knows this. The main character only gets angry about this and realizes that now she has two grumps. But at that very moment, the lady begins to feel something, and when she grabs her chest, then she thinks that she has some kind of strange feeling, and everything in this place seems to be burning. At this time, the wolf tells his mistress that magical powers begin in the head, after which he screams at her to cast the spell now. Hilda asks if this really needs to be done now, and wonders if this vibrating feeling towards her is magical powers, and whether she is doing everything right. Well, Hilda thinks, what if a big fire starts again? At that moment, the guy grabs her hand and tells the lady not to worry. After all, if something goes wrong, they heard that the knight will solve this problem, so let the ladies try. The main character thinks that it is good, and now she will try to do the same as she did in the night castle, and what she needs now. This discontent is why the lady wants to release all her disgusting emotions, after which the lady begins to use magic and realizes that she has succeeded. But when the girl wants to stop, she realizes that she can't do it, and she becomes scared. At that moment, the Viscount wants to stop the girl, but the wolf screams for him not to do it. The main character then realizes that her powers are starting to disappear and thinks that this is strange because she was sure that she could not control it. The wolf claims that her power is too great for her to control even simple spells on her own, and the girl asks if he stopped her, and he replies that yes, and also he will control her powers, so the lady cannot worry and use them fully. Hilda says that, with her son, even better than she thought. To which he replies, did he say anything about it, and also claims that he can increase her powers. Hilda says what a cutie he is, and as a gift today, they will go for a walk by the river. A little while later, the girl and the Viscount are left alone. Hilda asks what they will study today, but the guy looking at how she sits tells the lady to sit correctly. Hilda says, okay, there are only two of them. A little while later, the Viscount says that today they will be working on the duchy's family tree, and also study the family history. If the lady belongs to the upper class, then the family history should be impressive. The main character asks if she should even know those who lived 300 years ago. She also wonders if it is worth doing, because these people have long since rotted and become earth. But the guy claims that without the past, there is no future. Hilda understands that he is handsome and speaks appropriately, so she likes him. Well then, the lady asks if we should start with those who are still alive, because the past and future are of course important, but there is nothing more interesting than the present. The guy claims that if that's what she wants, then fine, and he will begin the explanation. There are currently 6 members of the family, not counting the Duke, who bears the surname Arpeggio. Together with the lady, there are 7 of them, after which the guy suggests starting with Terina Arpeggio, who is the Duke's wife. A dose of courage, she was the Marchioness of Galeta. The girl asks if this grandmother is hers, to which the guy replies that this is true, and Duchess Terina is His Highness's second wife. Hilda thinks that means she might not like her from the start. Since they are not related, she is another headache for her. The Viscount claims that Terina's biological son is Fred Arpeggio, who is 3 years younger than the lady. The main character then remembers the clothes she was wearing and thinks that they belonged to Fred. Even without meeting him, she already feels close to him and is even a little grateful. And the guy at this time says that there is also a firstborn, Fior Arpeggio Ruzia's twin sister, Cleo Arpeggio, and also his own child. Fiora's name is Timo Arpeggio, and he is her cousin, and also Fiore's wife, Ortigia. The main character at this time tells him to wait a minute and give her time to think about everything. Hilda asks why he says it so quickly, and did he really want to name all 300s today? The guy asks if he is doing it quickly, but claims that there is an exam tomorrow, and the lady must remember everything. At this time, the main character thinks about what he is talking about and asks to wait a minute. Hilda asks if there will really be an exam right away, and the guy asks if she can learn it in a day. The main character only gets angry about this and claims that she is not as brilliant as he is. At this point, the guy asks how about 2 days, and the lady replies that she needs 5 days, after which they start bargaining, and they reach 4 days. At this time, the guy thinks why she can't learn everything in a day. And the main character, looking at the books, thinks how it is even possible to learn so quickly. Hilda asks if anyone among them will be glad to see her, to which the guy replies that no, and it would be better if no one paid attention. Hilda realizes that she will meet her family for the first time since she was born, and this guy says that it is better for them to treat her like a stone in the road. The girl also wonders why they should avoid her, since she will not become the Duke's successor. But the guy replies that no one knows this, and when the lady becomes an aristocrat who will claim the inheritance. Hilda wonders if the eldest son will become the heir, to which the guy replies that the Duke has not yet appointed the person who will receive the inheritance, so everyone has a chance. Hilda realizes that if this is true, then she is the daughter of the Duke's eldest daughter, named Ruzia Arpeggio, and according to the puppy, she has the strongest magical abilities. Therefore, this can become a subject of attacks, and her existence is a problem for them, so the lady thinks what to do. But she still understands that everyone will return only in a month, and she has time to think. A little while later, the girl walks down the street with the puppy. She yawns and suggests going back, because she is tired of walking. But at that very moment, the lady notices the carriage and wonders if someone has really come. The puppy then claims that, judging by the amount of luggage, it doesn't look like this is a guest. Well, the main character thinks who it is, if not a guest, and claims that first they need to get inside, because Rogan will grumble again if they come late. Hilda says that he will soon develop wrinkles if he does not stop swearing. At the same moment, someone turns to their mistress and claims that he has finally found her. But the girl wonders what happened, after which the butler apologizes, but asks if she could give her this dog because he has to wash it. He will explain everything to the lady later. Hilda wonders if it is because someone has arrived. And it's also interesting what happens after, which the girl says that it's good and they can refill it. The lady also says goodbye to the puppy and also wonders if he understands that he should find out what is going on there and then report it to her. A little while later, the lady also looks at the thing in the corridor and thinks, why so many things to believe them, as if someone is moving. The girl also looks at some dresses and realizes that she is afraid to wear such things. The stones can fall off from one of her movements, and the lady wonders if these clothes are really meant to be beautiful in one place. At the same moment, someone turns to the girl, and when she turns around, she asks who he is. Hits at the same moment her in the face. Hilda wonders what happened and why he hit her. A thin young guy with blonde hair and brown eyes. And he also has freckles on his nose, so the lady wonders who he is. But then she also wonders if it matters, because he is such a goat for daring to hit her. Hilda hits the guy back, causing him to scream, and the maid immediately runs up to the gentleman and asks if he is okay. Well, the guy tells her not to touch, after which he turns to the girl and asks how she dared to do such a thing, and also whether she knows who he is. But the main character is interested in what he is talking about, because he hit her himself. The young man asks if that is really true, and the girl replies that he got hit in the face because he started hitting first, and the girl asks why he did that, and also who he thinks she is to raise her hand to hers. After all, even the parents didn't touch this precious face, which is why the guy is angry, and she screams that she is a thief, but the lady only smirks at this, after which he realizes that he doesn't know how to swear either. Hilda puts her hand on his shoulder, and she says that if the guy starts acting up, she will do bad things to him. When the young man listens to all this, he is shocked and also wonders how she dares to talk like that. But at that very moment, she hears someone addressing him as Mr. Fred. The girl is surprised and remembers the healthy tree, and also wonders if this is the Duchess's son. Hilda wonders which of them has a higher status, and he is her mother's half-brother, which means he should be in charge. And then, he is her uncle, so she just hit her uncle and committed a terrible sin. She had recently almost said goodbye to her life, but she didn't think she would be able to do something like this. Hilda immediately asks if he is okay, after which she even addresses him as you. But the guy screams at her not to touch him with her dirty hands. The main character asks how she could know that they are relatives. But the guy screams, are they really related, after which he claims that he is not going to have the same last name as her, who is not clear where she was born. Then the lady claims that he will have to change it. The young man screams, what did she say? The lady asks why she had to raise her hand to her. Fred screams that he punished the nasty girl who touched his things, and this action was the right one. Hilda asks when she touched his things, but then thinks that this can't be. and whether they told him that she borrowed those clothes. The girl says that if he means the suit, then the Count gave her permission and everything was washed. The guy screams, "Is it really from the window?" wondering who will wear the clothes that touched her dirty hands, because now it can only be thrown away. The guy also puts his hand to his earlier one, and the lady hopes that she did not knock out his tooth because she did not hit him with her fist. Hilda asks if it hurts him a lot, after which she offers to watch, but the guy screams for her not to touch him. He raises his hand again, and the main character wonders if he will hit her again, but she also understands that she has no right to touch him and prepare for a blow. At that moment, someone grabs the guy by the arm and tells him that he better stop. Fred asks if it is Rogan, and how dare he do such a thing. The young man becomes even more angry, after which he hits the Viscount. The main character is surprised by this and screams in shock at the guy. The Duchess is talking to the maid at this time, and is interested in what the girl did with the maids. She claims to one of them that she cut everyone's salary, and also said that she received permission to do so from the Count. The girl claims that he could not give so much power to a lady who had just come into the family. This lady is the wife of Count Arpeggio, Terrin Arpeggio. The girl asks if Henry really thinks so, but the maid only remains silent in response, after which he claims that the Duke himself did not take part in this. The woman wonders if there was any point in him interfering there. After all, if those who are lower in status interfere in matters that are not theirs, they will only be left with scars. Well, the maid says that if there was no permission from the Duke, how could she get away with it? The woman replies that she doesn't know, and maybe this little dog who doesn't know fear of a tiger yet. Or maybe she is cunning and sly, so it would be better if she were a little dog. The Duke cannot stand ignorance and soon gets tired of it. He is someone to be feared. This is not a girl who grew up in a desolate slum trying to earn money for food. And the ostrich is as cunning as a fox. The Duke, for some unknown reason, treats him like his child. And the Viscount is ready to do everything for the Duke, even sacrifice his life. The woman asks if Strauss is currently looking after this girl, to which the maid replies that yes, he is helping her get settled there and also teaching her everything. The Duchess claims that Ostrich is incredibly cunning and wonders how they managed to disprove this without the family knowing. Henry claims that this lady's bone is Ruscia's daughter, but it contains the red fluid of a commoner, and the maid wonders if the lady will simply watch as she becomes part of the Arpeggio family. The woman asks, "Didn't she say that those who have no right to interfere with something end up with scars? So she should also watch how she behaves." Now this girl bears the surname Arpeggio. The maid then clutches her dress and understands that she too is from a respectable aristocratic family. The woman understands that Hilda does not pose a danger now, and besides others with a more impatient nature, will attack first. But at that very moment, one of the maids bursts into the room and screams that something bad has happened. After all, Mr. Fred and Mrs. Hilda are fighting. The main character is watching the Viscount at this time and wondering why he took the blow. At this point, the guy screams, is he really not even going to dodge? And the main character wonders if he is crazy. After which, he hits the guy and screams for him to stop. The young man immediately falls to the floor. The maids run up to him and ask if the gentleman is okay. Hilda wonders what is happening to everyone, because they are standing there watching as she and Rogan are getting hit. At this point, the guy, almost crying, screams for his mother to be called immediately, but the main character asks if he is talking about his mother, and also whether the baby wants his mommy. The guy wonders what she is talking about, and the main character asks if he is really so scared that he shit his pants, and he has such a grown-up forehead. But he calls for his mommy. He might even ask to change his diaper, but at that moment, someone covers the lady's mouth, and the main character cannot speak. The girl understands that she has just gotten a taste for it, and he has shut her mouth. The Viscount at this time turns to Hilda, and he offers to go. And they need to talk, but the main character screams for him to let her in because she hasn't said everything yet, and she'll also set this guy straight. Rogan says she can do it later, and when he takes the lady away, she only screams for the guy to watch his actions because she will be watching him. The young man is only frightened by this, and a little while later, the main character claims that she was wrong. She didn't want to do it, but this idiot hit Rogan, who had nothing to do with it, and she just got angry. The guy then tells the lady to raise her head and wants to apply some ointment to her. Hilda says that she is truly sorry, and the Viscount wonders if this is really true. The main character claims that she didn't want to put him in an awkward position, to which the guy replies that nothing like that happened, because it was she who untied everything, not him. Hilda says how callous this guy is, after which the Viscount claims that Fred is the one who bows down to the strong and mocks the weak, especially over those he considers beneath him. Hilda replies that she thought so. She also feels sorry that they treated Rogan this way, but she still thinks that she did everything right, because her mother told her that she needs to stand up for herself. The guy claims that he half agrees, but the main character wonders what about the other half. The Viscount insists that she shouldn't have been angry, because he was hit. Hilda just remains silent, after which she claims that she would like Rogan to be on her side, but she does not force him to do so. After all, she doesn't want him to sacrifice himself for her, so she will protect those who are on her side. While the guy claims that the lady didn't protect him, but only made things worse. Hilda thinks that she said it so beautifully, there is no reaction from him. This guy is so sweet on the outside, but incredibly hard on the inside. Rogan claims he asked the maid to bring him some ice, so he can tell the lady to put it on her cheek. Hilda disagrees with this, and then says that now it's Rogan's turn. The guy replies that he's really okay, but the main character grabs his face, and when he starts to apply the ointment, he thinks why his skin is so tender. Under the pretext of helping, she was able to touch his face, so everything wasn't so bad. The girl also thinks what a scoundrel Fred is. How could he ruin such a beautiful face, so she will show him and take revenge for this. Well, at that very moment, the maid knocks on the door of the room, after which they enter, and everything changes. The main character asks what is going on, and also understands that she has been having such a good time. Dorothy reports that the mistress has offered the lady to have dinner together today. Hilda wonders if she is talking about the Count's wife, and if this woman is really going to scold her for touching her precious son. At this time, the Viscount turns to Hilda and asks if she is ready, after which the girl thinks that he is on her side, and also answers that, of course. A little while later, the girl already enters the room for the meal. The woman tells her to come in and sit down, to which the lady agrees, and also thanks her for the invitation. The Duchess asks if her name is Hilda Russ, to which the main character replies that yes. Well, at that very moment, the guy next to her coughs, and their main character thinks what kind of signal this is. After which she even says that now she bears the surname Arpeggio. Fred immediately screams out what she is talking about. And how dare he take the great name of Arpeggio? The Duchess turns to her son and tells him to observe etiquette. The young man then wants to object, but the woman claims that this is the Duke's order and wonders if he has forgotten. The guy wonders how he could decide this without consulting others. But the Viscount at the same moment wonders whether the Duke is obliged to ask their opinion. He also claims that he asked to put everything in its place and asks if it was Mr. Fred. He wants to challenge the Count's decision, to which the guy replies that no, and he is not going to do that. The Duchess asks to understand her son because he is still young. The main character thinks whether she is saying that he is young. While he understands that at his age she was already working, the girl, despite her thoughts, tells the Duchess that she understands. The woman at this time claims that she is a little shocked by the situation and heard that the lady is Rusha's daughter. Well, she's never met her. Hilda says she understands, and the woman claims she knows it was the Duke's decision and has nothing against the lady. Well, she would like to know about this decision before rumors start spreading. After all, she is the mistress of this house. The guy at this time is wondering if this is really such a reproach to the aristocracy, after which he claims that he simply thought it would be wrong to interfere, and also asks for forgiveness if he was wrong. The woman says that it is clear, but the main character thinks that it is more interesting than waving fists. At this point, the main character enters the conversation and asks what excuse Miss Hilda will find regarding the situation with Fred. After all, it would be better for her to ask her son about this, and he was the first to give her a pumpkin. The Viscount only watches this with bewilderment. But at that very moment, Fred can't help but jump up from his seat and scream that the girl was the first to take his things without asking. Hilda claims that the Duke himself allowed her, and if the guy is unhappy with something, then let her talk to him. But if he is afraid, then should she really do it instead of him? The young man then asks his mother if she heard, and also let her look at this girl, because she widened her eyes and told him such things. Hilda asks, how else can she look at him, because she can't make a triangular shape for her eyes. The Duchess claims that there is some sense in Hilda's words, but the lady cannot beat Fred because of the ostrich. The main character thinks that this is how the brunette claims that the matter is, that Hilda at that moment grabs his hand. As if stopping and also asking if the Duchess really wants her to apologize, the woman asks, "What if she says that it is so?" After which, the main character claims that if her son asks for forgiveness from Strauss, she will apologize to Fred. The woman claims that this should not depend on each other. But Hilda claims that she is sure that it is somehow connected. Her son hit Strauss because he was angry with her. But at the same moment, the woman asks if Miss Hilda really wants the guy to bow his head to the Viscount. But he is from the Arfeggio family. Hilda understands that she knew it, because this woman hides her nature behind a sweet smile. Terina is an aristocrat obsessed with family history. Now the woman argues that the lady should choose the right side. Other family members will arrive soon, and she has nothing against the lady, but the others are different from her. The main character asks the lady if she wants her to be on her side. The woman wonders if Miss Hilda understood her words that way, and the main character asks if she can honestly say, to which the woman replies, "Of course." Hilda claims that she understood it this way, and the lady wants Ostrich on her side and not her. The guy is a little surprised by this, but the Duchess thinks it's right on target. When a woman looks at her son, she realizes that he is sitting there with an expression on his face that says he doesn't understand anything at all. This fool doesn't know anything about how to make the right connections. The woman at this time only smiles and says that it is interesting. A little while later, the main character screams out what she thinks of herself. But the brunette says that she needs to be quieter. Hilda screams that such an attitude infuriates her, and Strauss claims that the lady will get used to it because no one among the aristocrats will say anything to her directly. Hilda asks in surprise why, and the guy replies that it is because speaking directly is not in accordance with etiquette, and asks the lady to understand this. Hilda claims that at this rate she will go crazy and wonders why everything is so complicated. The lady also asks if it is not better to speak directly, after which she points to her partner and states that she wants him to be on her side. After all, when she said that, it became easier for her soul. The guy then turns to Hilda, and he asks if she would agree if Mrs. Terina said it so directly. Well, the girl at that moment screams that she won't answer, and the woman wants to make her a mediator to get to him, and she doesn't like it. Rogan asks if the lady doesn't want to be allies with her, and the main character replies that she does not want this woman to use him. The Viscount says that he, too, didn't know that the lady would be so worried about him. Hilda claims that Rogan is on her side and is her man, so only she can command him. The guy then claims that he didn't even know that the lady was giving him orders. The main character, looking at him, thinks, what kind of cute face is this? Even with such an expression on his face, he looks very handsome. The girl immediately sits down on the chair and claims that, in any case, she doesn't like this Fred. And if the guy does anything like that again, she'll rip all his hair out. But Rogan says the lady better not make enemies with Terina. Hilda replies that she knows, and this woman is the key to getting closer to the Duke. Well, now she doesn't care about them either. The main character doesn't want to bargain with her because of the ostrich. When they were sitting at the table, the woman insisted that it would be better for them to forget their grievances against each other and start with a clean slate. But if the Duke found out about this, no one would benefit. But in any case, she congratulates the lady, because now she is part of their family. Hilda at this time asks what Rogan would answer if he were in her place. The guy claims that he would say what he thinks about, then everything would come to naught, and he wonders why they should teach someone about life. But the lady wonders if this is how it should be when there is a double meaning in the words. Rogan replies that you should never show your trump cards to your enemy, and then you can play. The girl understands that in the conversation with the Duchess, her trump card was Rogan Strauss. The guy at this time claims that if Terina wants him to be on her side, then the lady can use this and lead the conversation in the direction she needs. Hilda claims that even she finds it unpleasant to do this, but the guy claims that he doesn't know why the lady reacts this way. Hilda replies that this is because Rogan Strauss is not a map, but a person, and also very close to her. The guy then asks if the lady really thinks they are close, but Hilda asks if that is not true. Rogan asks why she decided so, and the girl understands that he embarrassed her. But she thought that they were close. That's why she said so. He asked the reason, simply because she feels that she is close to him. That's why she reads him as such a person, and no other answer comes to her mind. But the girl thinks that this is somehow strange, because now the word close sounds in her head, and today is some kind of strange day. after which the lady introduces another something and thinks that this is already too much. At the same moment, someone knocks on the room and apologizes to the lady. Hilda understands that this is her savior, who will pull her out of the swamp of intimacy. The maid brings a puppy into the room and claims that she came to return it. And the main character, looking at how peacefully he sleeps, understands that he has the happiest life. A little while later, she tells the puppy to get up, and the Viscount says that it's good that he doesn't snore like some. After this, the main character only begins to touch the dog and tells him to wake up. At that moment, the wolf jumps up and screams. Does she even know what it's like to be touched by strangers? But the girl thinks that he is too pure to say such things, and is very unconvincing, after which the girl says that, okay, and she didn't send him for procedures. The wolf immediately throws her hand away and asks if he is really just an errand boy for her. Hilda replies that they have a contract, so he must carry out her orders. But the wolf cries out that he was not born to obey the orders of a man, because he is a great and strong body, after which the main character says that he is of no use. She learned the wind magic herself, and he is still gaining strength. After which the girl asks what he will say about the animal, turns to the owner, and says that she simply did not ask anything. He also claims to have learned some important information. Hilda realizes that he has finally spoken. The wolf claims that while he was being bathed, he listened to what his subordinates were saying. Our Fagio family is arriving tonight. Rogan says everyone knew something was wrong when Tarina left. The wolf claims that they say that the Countess is allergic to animal hair, which is why they didn't wash him like that, and also combed until the fur became smooth and applied perfume. The smell of rice oil was so gentle, and he really liked it. But the main character tells him to stop because she doesn't care that he liked it there. The girl also thinks about the Countess and wonders if it is Cleo Arpeggio, and also her mother's sister. A little while ago, the brunette claimed that this girl possesses the strongest magic in the Arpeggio family. Therefore, many think that she will become the heir. Hilda asked if she was married, to which the guy replied that she wouldn't answer. She had earned the status of a countess through her own merits, and besides, she wasn't engaged. The main character understands that she can't show her the puppy. The wolf at this time says that people should rely on him, and Hilda thinks that there is no need to try to please everyone, because they will hate her, even if she just breathes. But it is better not to aggravate the situation. The main character asks what kind of character this woman has, and the Viscount answers that she is straightforward because the Countess knows what she wants. She decides quickly and then does not change her answer. Hilda asks if he likes Cleo too, which the guy replies that he is only following the Duke's orders. The girl thinks that this means she doesn't like it. The wolf at this time claims that there was another conversation about something else. Hilda asks what it is about, and the animal claims that there was an order to prepare everything for a big celebration. The main character asks if he is talking about the celebration, and wonders what it is about. Rogan claims that there will be a family feast, and all members of the Arpeggio family will come. The guy also says that it is a family dinner, and usually during the holiday, the family gathers at the common table. The main character asks if there is really some kind of celebration tomorrow, and the guy replies that nothing like that, that's why it's suspicious. Most likely one of the family members suggested it. Hilda replies that she doesn't think they decided to throw a dinner in her honor, to which the guy replies that yes, they are definitely not happy to see the lady, so they will arrange some kind of check. Hilda asks if something like that can happen during a feast, but the guy wonders if the lady knows how many forks are used during dinner. Hilda wonders if he's talking about forks, and the Viscount at this time asks what kind of wine she would like with the fish and what with the meat. Hilda replies that they will serve something and drink, after which the guy just remains silent. The main character claims that she understood what kind of test they will give her and is interested in what will happen next, and whether the Viscount will sit next to her and tell her what to do. However, the puppy asks if the owner didn't hear, but he said everything clearly. It will be a family dinner, so the dark-haired one is not allowed in. Hilda wonders how he talks to the mistress, although the dog is right after all. Hilda asks what to do then, and the guy replies that he will teach her everything. The main character understands that she won't be able to sleep today, and that life in the family is too difficult. A little while later, the girl looks at the table and wonders what it is, and the guy claims that in the Arpeggio house, they serve 8 dishes during a family dinner. This is soup, fish dish, salad. main course, poultry dish, dessert, fruit, and tea. Everything is in order of the queue, and the cutlery should be used starting from the outermost one. When finished with the dish, let the lady put it on the plate, not on the table. After all, the maids will take everything. The Duke will give a sign that it is possible to start dinner, and her inspection will begin exactly when everyone gathers at the table. Hilda says that it's good, and she remembered it. The guy claims that when eating soup, a lady should not make sounds. When the main character looks at how he shows, she understands that the guy is so handsome, and even when he eats, but then she thinks that she needs to come to her senses and also maintain her posture. Otherwise, everything will flow past her mouth. The girl then begins to eat and thinks that she is doing everything perfectly. But the guy says that her plate is already empty, and also says that tomorrow, the lady should eat only 1/3 and should eat 2 times slower. Hilda asks why leave the food, it's delicious. The lady also screams what it is. It's not nice to the cook. He'll be in a bad mood if you leave so much food. The guy claims that aristocratic girls should not have a big appetite, and she will be reproached for it. But the girl wonders what's wrong with her eating well, and for a second, she claims that tomorrow she still won't be able to enjoy food. At dinner, she will have to wear uncomfortable clothes, but the main character asks why. To which the guy replies that she will be wearing tight clothes, so she won't be able to eat much. Hilda asks if the clothes will be even more uncomfortable than the ones she's wearing now. After which she even asks who needs it, to which the guy replies that it's family dinner etiquette. Hilda wonders if this is a competition of who is more stupid. After which the guy also points to the bread. And he asks how the lady will eat it, to which the girl replies that she will cut it in half. After which he will spread oil, but when the girl looks around, she realizes that there is no oil. The Viscount says that it is in front of her, but the main character asks where it is, after which the guy presses on one of the vessels, and a rose made of oil appears there. And the main character seeing this admires and says that it is so cool. Rogan claims that a lady should not talk like that. Well, when a girl tries to do this, she thinks why she can't do it. The Viscount comes up behind her and insists that the lady should do things a little differently. You need to put the knife down, not put it down, and also let the fly press a little. He also says that the girl is too tense, so after that, she will relax her shoulders. But when he notices the lady's reaction, he immediately screams for her to breathe. The girl almost chokes at that moment. And the guy turning her and the chair towards him asks what happened and whether the lady is really feeling unwell. Hilda thinks that he is also asking, but her breath catches when Rogan touches her. But she really likes it, and people understand that she stops breathing when such a handsome man touches her. At this time, the Viscount turns to Hilda and says that she has turned red and wonders if she has a fever, which makes the girl even more embarrassed, and also screams that it's because he's too handsome, and wonders how he can be so wonderful. And he even touches her hand, just like that. The guy is a little surprised by this and then completely apologizes for taking her hand without asking the main character, then tells him not to misunderstand her, because she was embarrassed, because he is very handsome. And it is true, Hilda understands that she really is her mother's reign, because she cannot resist a beautiful face. After this, the Viscount only thanks her, and Hilda wonders why he is doing this. The girl also remembers how her mother said that if a lady is uncomfortable, then she should not show it, because it can become her weak point later, so she should not show it and behave as if everything was planned. Now the main character thinks that she will do as her mother said, and also turns to Rogan and suggests to rest for 10 minutes. The girl thinks that everything is fine, because she said it like a true aristocrat. The guy is only surprised by this, and the lady understands that it will look like she came up with this in order to take a break. And the girl also thinks how she would like to have someone with her now who would support her, and at least a puppy. After which, the lady leaves the room, and the Viscount blushes a little. The girl at this time thinks that looking at Rogan, she always said that he was handsome, but never before had her heart beat as it did now, and she was surprised by his touch. The guy's hands are big and strong, and it was a pleasant feeling, so the girl thinks how she would like to experience it again. But at the same moment, the lady takes out of her thoughts the fact that someone says that he cannot eat anything. One of the ladies asks her if the girl doesn't like the food. She replies that no, and the food is great. She just eats a little. The woman asks if this is true about the taiga, that it is incredible and also strange that the lady has no appetite, because she thinks that she has never tried such food before. Hilda realizes that the woman who asked her how she liked the food was trying to hook her, and that she was Fiore's wife, Ortigia Arfeggio. Their son is Timo Arfeggio, and also at the table is the Duke's eldest son, Fiore Arfeggio, and Countess Cleo Arfeggio. The girl also remembers asking the Viscount whether the Duke's eldest son was the strongest. Well, the guy replied that it was not so, because Fiore had no magical powers, and Cleo had the strongest ones. Magic powers. But Ruscia's daughter appeared there, who has even greater powers than Cleo. So the main character understands that Fiore will hate her more than anyone else. The woman at this time claims that it is not because the lady has no appetite, but simply that she cannot enjoy this food, and she has never eaten it before. Hilda realizes that she is not even trying to choose her words. At this moment, the Duke's son turns to him, and he suggests that today, we let Hilda choose the wine, since she has become a new member of the family. The man also asks if she knows much about wine, to which the lady mentally replies that she does, and he wonders if this is why they decided to have a family dinner. The girl claims that she saw Coletteson wine in the cellar, and asks how about him. The man then asks if she would choose red wine over the wing, and smirks. But the main character claims that she saw that the white wine in the Duke's cellar was in oak barrels, and is afraid that the aroma of wood will give the fish an unpleasant taste. And since they have trout for dinner today, the Coletteson wine will be perfect. The girl understands that Rogan told her so, and also told her to just memorize it. Although of course the chef initially told them what was for dinner. Now the Duke's son is just angry, and Cleo claims that those who know nothing about wine always say that white wine should be served with fish. Her interlocutor claims that Ruscia most likely told her daughter about different types of wine, to which the main character replies that no, and her mother did not teach her this. Well, she thought that all aristocrats knew such basic things, but it turns out that everything is not so. The Duke's son at this time says that magical powers are certainly important to aristocrats too. He also heard that the powers Ruscia were given to her. The main character replies that yes, and she also proved it in order to become part of the family. Well, then the man starts blowing out the candles on the table and tells the lady to show it to them. He heard that her powers are related to fire, so he asks if the lady will demonstrate. Hilda replies that she can show, but doesn't think it would be appropriate at the table. The main character thinks how they can ask her for such a thing right away, because she is not yet confident in her abilities and has only learned to ignite, but the puppy is not nearby and she will not be able to control it. At this time, someone else asks the father to allow him to ask when the family can get together like this again. This woman wonders if the lady will have a better chance to show herself. After which the man says, okay, and he wants to see what the lady has been able to learn. The main character then turns to the Duke and asks if there is any need for her to convince other family members, since she has already proven her strength by spending the night in a female. The girl also asks in her thoughts that her words will help. The Duke replies that there is no need for anything, and there is nothing wrong with her demonstrating her strength. Hilda replies that she has not yet fully mastered her power, and thinks that this chance is better than today. However, then the Duke's son says that the lady should not make him laugh, and what value is there in her except for magical powers? Flows through her, and is there any reason to refuse to show her power in front of other family members? Fred then asks if she will demonstrate how strong she must be to have the audacity to raise her hand against him. Another lady claims that she hopes the magical powers that brought her from there are probably so great that the lady could take a serious position. Hilda realizes that there is no one on her side, and she wants to see Rogan. The guy asked her not to create problems. The puppy also said that the owner would succeed because she had learned a lot, but she was not interested in the main game. Doesn't he really believe in it? The wolf claimed that if you compare with people, then the mistress compared to Rogan, for example, does not grasp everything so quickly. The girl understands that he is even more straightforward than Rogan's. She also screams that she is confident in herself and that she just needs to have dinner. The lady also asked Rogan if he believed in her, after which the guy just turned away, and the main character asked why he was looking away. The guy replied that he did not expect much from the lady, but that she should not forget the purpose of the dinner. Hilda replied that it was fine, and that he shouldn't worry, to which the guy replied that he would do so. The main character also said that Rogan is so heartless because this is a chance to get the Duke's full favor. But the guy claimed that she had another goal today, Hilda asked, what if the Duke began to value her even more? To which he replied that if that happened, she could ask him for anything. Now Hilda understands that she believes in her magical abilities. The girl also thinks about irritation, and she understands that a lot has happened, because of which she can experience these feelings. This family that irritates her, as well as people who do not speak directly, and in every word of theirs, you need to look for a catch, food that she can't finish, and a corset that makes it hard to breathe. After which, the lady feels this power and directs it to the table, casting a spell, but nothing happens, and the girl thinks that this is strange because she felt the power. The main character tries to use it several more times, and the Duke's son wonders if that's all. And he already feels somehow awkward watching these efforts. But at that very moment, one of the guys turns to his father, and he screams that his hair is on fire. When the man notices this, he starts screaming. Well, the fire only gets stronger, after which he goes into shock and screams for the flames to be put out immediately. The main character realizes that she is missing, and the man screams, "Where is the water?" The lady at this time, with a smile on her face, mentally apologizes to Rogan, because it seems she has problems. At this time, the man screams for the girl to put out the fire immediately. But the main character replies that she does not know the spell to get rid of the flame, after which the rest of the family members try to put it out, and the man screams to be saved. At this time, Cleo rises from her seat and snaps her fingers, after which she casts a spell. A huge ball of water forms in the air, after which the woman directs it at the Duke's son. And when he finds himself under the stream, the fire goes out, and the man starts coughing. Fiore's wife turns to him at the same moment and asks if he is okay. At this time, the main character thinks that he is ignoring her and that this is good. But at that very moment, the guy turns to her and screams that the lady planned everything to humiliate him and wanted to put him into eternal sleep. Hilda claims that she did say that she had not fully mastered her powers, but the man only shouts that he will plunge her into eternal sleep and swings. But at that very moment, the Duke tells Fiore to stop. After all this is an outrage, the guy then indignantly says goodbye to his father, who claims that he himself asked to show his powers, although the lady said that she had not yet mastered them completely. The man then screams that she set his hair on fire on purpose, and that this girl wanted to humiliate him, so she did it. And also his father saw everything, to which he replies that it is true. After all, he saw a strong magic that his son does not have. A little while later, the Duke turns to the lady, and he says that she has excellent strength, and he has not seen such abilities since Rusha left, although he is worried that the lady cannot control her. Hilda claims that she will start studying harder, and the man says that this is good, because he would be glad to see her strength and also let the lady say if there is something that she would like. Hilda realizes that this is her chance and claims that she has one, but wonders if she can answer this question later. The man asks what later means, and the main character replies that first she wants to think everything over well and then decide, because he said that he would fulfill her wish. But this is a rare case, so she will treat this opportunity with care. The Duke then asks what it is that she wants, and he sees that she is sure that it will not cause him any trouble. The girl realizes that there are 4 duchies in the kingdom, and the strongest among them is the Arfeggio Duchy, led by Duke Arfeggio. He controls the most extensive, rich, and fertile lands, so whatever she asks him to do, he has the strength and means to do it. The man then says that yes, and he can do everything. The main character understands that it worked, and flattery has never failed her before. But the man says that the more he looks at her, the more the lady reminds him of Rusha. The main character thinks that he is talking about it again, and she doesn't even know whether he is praising her or scolding her. A little while later, the main character also approaches Countess Cleo and apologizes. And he also says that because of her dinner, turned into chaos, to which the woman replies that it is not entirely her fault. Fiore got what he wanted, after which she asks if that's all the lady wanted to say. Well, after that, the main character asks if she can ask something, and also wonders if the lady hates her. The woman asks if she has a reason to love the girl, to which she replies that she can, because she is Rusha's daughter, Arfeggio. The woman claims that she and her sister were not that close, while the main character claims that she is very similar to her mother. The woman claims that they are sisters, so they have common features, but the girl claims that hers more. Its ability is water. Magical powers depend on character and personal preferences, so Cleo is similar to her mother, not only on the outside, but also on the inside. And this is not only because they are sisters. The woman at this time claims that she understands why the lady is asking this, and she heard that she had a fight with Fred, and today set Fiore's hair on fire. And so that at least someone would be on her side. The lady wants to befriend her. The main character understands that this woman understood everything, after which Cleo says that Hilda is not a failure. She also claims that she hated Rusia, so she has no reason to treat the girl well, and she asks if the lady thinks so. Hilda realizes that today she has understood a lot about Cleo. This woman is not one to beat around the bush, and she says what she thinks, after which Cleo turns to the lady again and asks if she will tell her aunt when she receives a gift from her father. After all, she is very curious about what she will ask him for. A little while later, the main character throws away her corset and thinks that she just wants to fall into eternal sleep. The girl also remembers how the Viscount said that in this place, there is no one who would be on her side, and everyone will insult her and bully her. Hilda does not know how unhappy she will be. Now the main character is wondering why she immediately remembered Rogan's words. Well, when the girl enters one of the rooms, she sees the sleeping Viscount there and is surprised. The girl understands that he fell asleep over the book, and yet he is so tired. After which the lady sighs, and also sits down next to him and argues on the shoulder. But at the same moment, the guy asks her how the dinner went. The main character screams in shock that he scared her, and wonders if he was really awake. The ostrich replies that he woke up when the lady came in, but then screams that he is lying. After which the guy asks how her meeting went, and the main character just smiles. And she thinks how to explain this, and maybe she shouldn't tell him that she set Fiore's hair on fire. At this time, the brunette says that despite how she doubts it, seems he won the argument, but the girl replies that no, because the Duke really liked it, and he said that he would give her a reward. The guy asks if this is true, to which the main character replies that it is. However, the Viscount then asks why the lady is not happy. Hilda replies that the Duke praised her, but other members of the family hate her. The guy claims that there is nothing unusual about this, and the girl asks what it means. The Viscount replies that he told her from the beginning that no one would be happy to see a new member of the family. Hilda says that this is true, and she knew about it, but then the girl thinks why she feels so bad about it. The guy at this time puts his hand on the lady's hand, and the main character understands that everything is fine because Rogan is next to her. A little while later, someone asks if the Duke really called Mrs. Hilda the heiress. One of them says that it seems true. Another maid claims that she is the daughter of Mrs. Rusia, and so can become the heir. But the problem is that the Duke speaks too openly about it. And then one of them asks which side would be more profitable to take. The other replies that she thinks it would be more profitable to support the eldest son. One of the maids claims that Tarina's influence is too great, so it's better to be on her son's side. Well, then another one claims that she thinks the Duke will hand everything over to the Count, since he has many merits compared to others. The girl asks what about Lady Hilda. In response, one of them asks if anyone thinks that the Duke can pass everything on to her as an inheritance. A little while later, the puppy claims that this is what the maid said. The main character only screams furiously that she showed great abilities, and they have such a sour reaction. The puppy claims that strong magic shows the strength of the family, but does not say that the lady will be a good duchess. The main character screams that the spirit is right, and this is her, makes me even more angry. At this time, the puppy tells the owner that he tried hard, so let her give him the promised reward. Hilda claims that she is not happy with what she heard, but a promise is a promise, after which she gives him a crunchy cookie, and the puppy only wonders if it is with cinnamon and a sugar bomb. The main character thinks how picky he is and wonders what kind of sugar bomb this is. The puppy replies that it is a candy store on the main street, and everyone talks about this place because it has the most delicious desserts. But the lady seems to have heard it for the first time, so today he will close his eyes to it. The main character looking at this puppy thinks, is he really reprimanding her? But she still thinks that he is too cute, so she won't scold him. The ostrich says that it seems that the lady has already completed the task since she is distracted. The main character replies that of course she has done everything, after which the Viscount tells her to bring him the task because she only thinks about playing. The girl puts her papers on the table and claims that he looked busy, so she didn't want to disturb him. She also asks what he is reading so carefully to which the guy replies that it is a letter from the royal family, or rather, permission for the lady to become part of the Arpeggio family. The girl wonders if this is really permission, and it turns out that she has now officially become an Arpeggio. The guy replies that this is so, and she became Arpeggio from the moment the Duke gave his consent, and now the Emperor has confirmed this. So starting next year, the lady can go out into society. So until then, she must diligently study the spoken arts and culture. And also to match externally, Hilda screams what is wrong with her, and the guy crosses out something in her assignment and tells her not to write the word cool in the letter. The girl claims that he simply gave her a difficult task, and anyone would have made a mistake there. But the guy says that she did not compare herself with others, because she must become the one who knows and can do more than others. The main character understands that he is grumbling again, and the guy claims that compared to others. Well, at that very moment, the main character points to one of the letters and asks what it is and whether it also came from the palace. The guy claims that this is a response from the palace regarding the Night Castle, and they want to discuss this issue. At this time, Hilda asks if they really don't want to sell it to, which the guys answer that he doesn't know, and that this is a house that has great significance, so it won't be easy. But the girl claims that the imperial family has no magical powers, and wouldn't it be better for them to get rid of the Night Castle? The guy claims that if it is sold, someone might dispute that the imperial family has a magical red liquid flowing through it. Hilda says it's nothing but. The guy says there's nothing to be done. If something is missing, or a lady feels weak, then this should never be shown to anyone. But the girl at this time says that she hates it, after which the guy smiles and also turns to Hilda. The girl asks what he wants again. Well, when she turns around, she sees a chest with coins, after which the guys claim that this is money for her maintenance until the summer. Hilda asks whose money it is, and the guy replies that now it belongs to her. The main character is shocked and asks if this is true, and all the money is now hers. Rogan replies that yes. The main character thinks how many gold coins there are and what it means to be an aristocrat. The brunette claims that this money is for her upkeep and can be used to buy dresses, jewelry, facial, and body treatments. Hilda then looks at her clothes and asks how much money they were bought for. The girl also wonders if the cold-blooded grandfather has finally given his granddaughter a present. But Rogan replies that it was his money, after which the main character wants to say that she thought so. But when she realizes what the guy said, she screams, "Did he really buy these clothes with his own money?" The guy replies that yes, and the girl asks why. Rogan claims it was an apology gift because he hadn't been able to prepare everything well on the first day, and she had to wear Mr. Fred's clothes. The main character at this time asks how much it cost, because it was not one or two dresses, and also the dress for aristocrats is so expensive. Well, the guy tells her not to worry, and wonders if the lady really thinks that he has no money. The main character understands that since he is a viscount, he has a lot of them, but this guy has already done so much for her. She is grateful to Rogan, but still feels guilty and wants to repay him. At this time, the guy opens the window, after which the main character turns to Rogan and tells him to spend one day only with her. A little while later, the guy is in the library. He understands that the lady said that she wants to walk with him around the area, but he doesn't know this city well, so he has one way out. It's all about learning in advance. The guy spent the whole night researching the city. He learned about its history, popular places, landscapes, and famous restaurants. Other aristocrats would choose to go to the theatrical performance, but he doesn't know what Hilda will choose. The guy understands that it is pointless to assume anything when it comes to this girl, and he does not know what she will like and what the lady will want to do. Hilda lived a different life from him, and he cannot imagine that her free spirit would want her. And even he finds it difficult to understand something. A little while later, the guy is already leaving his room, but at that very moment, someone turns to him and asks if the Viscount has decided to go for a walk with her. The guy realizes that it is Fiore, and after his head was set on fire at dinner, he wears a hat. At this time, the man says that a crazy woman like her shouldn't go anywhere, and that her father is very reckless. Rogan claims that this lady is a capable girl who simply did not have the opportunity to receive a decent education. The man then says that it is hard for a guy to tame this unpredictable girl, and he will only waste time, and there will be no benefit. Well, the brunette replies that he doesn't think about it and is just following orders. The man claims that, of course, he expected such an answer from him, and he likes his obedience. But he still asks how long the guy is going to be his father's lapdog, and he takes care of all the arpeggios. So the man asks if it's time for him to switch to others. The guy replies that he knows, but he doesn't see a single worthy person yet. The man tells him to know his place and asks if he should judge the heirs of Arpeggio, to which he replies that, of course, if you don't answer, the Duke himself will make the decision. But it so happened that he often listens to the opinion of his tame dog. The guy then says that he will go and leaves. A little while later, the main character asks if it is necessary to get up so early. The maid answers the lady that, of course, because she also gave a date with the Viscount today. Hilda answers that they do not have a date but just a walk, and asks when she was waiting for her so much. But then the maid tells the lady to just trust her, because she will make her so beautiful that the Viscount won't be able to take his eyes off her. Hilda is a little embarrassed and says that it is not really necessary. Dorothy asks, "What is this about, Madame? Because it is extremely important." Another maid also cries out that this is the mistress's first walk outside the castle since moving in. The main character thinks that for this occasion, maybe she should dress up. After which, the maid shows one of the stones and claims that this ruby color suits the lady's eyes very well. Another maid holds out a pair of shoes of a simple design that will highlight the slimness of the mistress's body. Dorothy, a little while later, tells the mistress that she will tighten the corset further, so let her climb and hold her breath. Glitter to the collarbones, because when the sun hits it, it will look very beautiful. A little while later, the main character is ready. Dorothy says that the lady is so beautiful. Another maid also says that the lady has changed so much, and now does not look like herself at all when she arrived at the castle, and also now looks like an aristocrat. The maid is happy after this, and the main character thinks that she is glad that they have such a cheerful atmosphere, but she doesn't like what they say. Although she is still happy because the girls can laugh and act like that around her. They really opened up, so she is happy. One of the maids at this time hands over some perfume and tells the mistress to apply a little. One of the girls also says that it is interesting what perfume the Viscount uses because he always smells so nice. The main character says that you can ask his maid about it and wonders who is watching Rogan's things. The maid replies that no one because he does it himself, and the main character asks why. The maid claims that he doesn't like it when others touch his things, and the maid also says that he cleans his own room. The main character wonders if he is a misophobe, but then the lady wonders why he touches her so easily. A little while later, someone knocks on the lady's room. The maid claims that the Viscount is waiting. She is at the reception, and the main character heads there, and also understands that when Rogan sees her, so-and-so will be speechless. The main character heads down the corridor with a smile on her face, after which she even goes into his room and asks what she looks like. At this time, the guy is wondering if the lady will really go in this, and the girl asks if she really looks strange and ugly. The Viscount, a little embarrassed, claims that she looks incredible, but that it would be too much for a walk around the city. The girl gets a little upset after this, and the guy just tells her to wait a minute, after which he starts running somewhere, and the main character wonders where he went. The guy replies that he will be back soon, and the girl thinks that she knew it because it is too much. But the maids tried so hard, so it would be a shame to let their efforts go to waste. The Viscount returns at this time and states that he thinks it will be enough to change shoes. The girl asks if this is really so, but she claims that these shoes do not belong to her. The guy claims that the lady did not leave the castle and therefore did not see them. Well, they belong to her. After which the guy is going to help the lady change her shoes. But the girl screams that she herself. Rogan claims that it will be difficult for her to change her shoes in such a dress. However, the girl wants to object and suggests at least calling the maid. The Viscount says there is no need and let the lady just lift her skirt slightly. The girl thinks that this makes her feel too awkward and wonders if this is normal for him. She also hopes that she doesn't understand something wrong. After which, the main character turns to Rogan and asks if he is really so kind to everyone. Hilda understands that he always says that he is following the Duke's orders, but now the guy claims that of course he is not. The lady thinks that she did not expect such care from him. A little while later, they are already heading in a carriage, and the puppy claims that he is ashamed. He also wonders how these people dared to put something like that on him, but the main character thinks that she probably likes the song. Since he doesn't take off this hat, the brunette says at this time that they have almost reached Rose Square. When the main character looks at the street, she says that there are so many people there. but she claims that she doesn't see a single rose. Rogan asks if she knows what the Arpeggio family crest looks like, after which the main character asks if she will really have a lecture there, and needs to study again, because she already sees all these family stories in her dreams. Well then, the lady thinks that the Arpeggio family crest depicts a rose, which is why the square is named that way. This city belongs to the duchy, and if she continued to live as Hilda Russ, she would never be able to see this place, and now she understands. How different is the world she grew up in from the world of Arpeggio? When they arrive at the place, he always extends his hand to the lady and offers to go. The coachman claims that he will return for them in the evening and leaves while the puppy sniffs something. The main character asks what happened, and the wolf replies that it smells like weapons. The Viscount claims that there is a gun shop nearby, and the main character is surprised and says that the puppy took into account even such a distant smell, and he is just like a real dog, but he replies that he is a wolf and not a dog, and asks how many more times he must repeat it to her. The Viscount at this time thinks that it is good that he cast a spell, so that everyone would hear the puppy's words as a dog's bark. The main character asks if he wants to go to Sugar Bomb or not. The puppy wonders if this is the same famous dessert shop, because if so, then of course he wants it. He also tells the lady to let him in because he'll go ahead. Arjun sighs and says that they just arrived and are already going to the candy store. But it's such a good chance to walk around famous places and learn history. The puppy at this time tells the person to be quiet, and the main character just laughs from behind. She understands that Rogan should be happy that they are going there. Last night, the girl asked the cook what Rogan liked. The only things that came to mind were books, studying, memorizing, and teasing her. At this time, the maid asked the lady if she really liked what the Viscount liked. Hilda understood that Dorothy didn't know either, because he was a person who should like something, after which the main character asked him if he liked precious stones. But the maid replied that he had money, but judging by the fact that he didn't spend it much, she didn't think he cared about it. After this, the cook just started laughing and claimed that they didn't understand anything. The main character immediately asked if he knew something, to which the man replied that of course he did, and asked where they had seen a man without an appetite. He had been preparing food for the Viscount for a long time, and of course knew what dishes he liked. After this, the main character seriously asks the cook to tell her what kind of food Ostrich likes, after which the man told her everything about, and now the girl goes into the pastry shop with the Viscount. A little while later, desserts are brought to their table, and the main character examines them. She understands that the tea looks so cold, but the guy should like black tea with sugar and a very sweet chocolate cake, after which the main character thinks whether he will like it, and tells the Viscount to try it. The girl also hands the treats to the puppy and tells him to eat it too. Rogan holds out a piece of cake to his mouth, and the main character asks if he likes it. At this time, Stenocek admires the sweets. The Viscount wipes his mouth and claims that it is very tasty. The main character is shocked to realize that the cook was right. After all, the Viscount likes sweet desserts. A little while later, the main character tells the guy that she didn't know that he liked sweet food. Rogan is only embarrassed by this, and the main character wonders if this was really a secret. The guy claims that he seemed to be trying to restrain himself, but the girl immediately jumps up and says that she simply heard about it from the cook. Rogan asks if she finds it strange, and the main character asks why. The guy replies that a man who really likes sweet food is a bit strange. Hilda replies that no, and there is nothing strange about it. The girl also asks what relation gender can have to taste preferences, because she, for example, although she looks cute, loves to drink. Rogan says that drinking a lot of alcohol is not suitable for an aristocrat, but the main character tells him not to talk and eat. Hilda asks if there is anything else he likes besides desserts, and the guy replies that he doesn't even know. The girl says that it should be even something small, after which the Viscount thinks about it. Hilda understands that she only asked what he likes, and Rogan was thinking so seriously that the girl thinks how much he doesn't think about himself. Rogan says he enjoys compliments and being recognized for his accomplishments. Then he understands that his efforts were not in vain. The main character says that he is very smart and worthy of eternal praise, while the girl understands that everything could have been different, and he tried his best to become the best and get praise. At this time, the puppy turns to the owner and says that she should also try to get compliments. The main character asks why, and the puppy replies that it's like the ugly duckling. He will live longer if he receives praise and support from at least someone. And it also makes you move on. Hilda understands that she wants to answer him something, but the puppy is still right. She only causes inconvenience to everyone, after which the girl sighs. And the Viscount tells the lady not to worry, because she copes with everything perfectly. He also puts his hand on the girl's hand, and Hilda realizes that no matter what her position is, she is very happy to receive approval from Rogan. A little while later, they continue their walk. The main character also carries sweets for the cook and the maid, after which they look at the beautiful outfits and then go to the library. When it's time to go home, then the main character sighs and says that she is so tired. Rogan asks if she is glad that she spent the day like this, to which the girl replies that yes, and it was a lot of fun, after which she asks what about him. Rogan says that he too, and he hasn't gone for a walk in the city for a long time. The puppy claims that he also had fun, because people didn't treat him like that before, and times have really changed. But at that very moment, the carriage shudders, and the main character begins to fall. Rogan immediately grabs her, after which the girl asks what is going on there. The Viscount says that he will go out to see, and the lady should stay there. Hilda screams that it is dangerous to go out alone, and let him at least take the puppy and use it as a weapon, after which the guy does so and also tells the lady not to go out. Hilda also tells him to be careful. A little while later, the girl already hears some kind of scream and understands that it belongs to the man who has just been plunged into eternal sleep. She also thinks that this is not Rogan's voice and wonders if these are bandits, after which she says that they need to check if the Viscount is safe. The girl is about to get out of the carriage, but the guy immediately screams at her to stay down. The wolf also says that the lady does not have the strength to protect herself, and she walks around like that, so how reckless she is. Hilda is poking around what happened to the groom, and the guy closes her eyes and says that she did not examine the disease, while the girl still sees through her fingers that the man was red liquid. The Viscount says that she needs to return to the carriage, but the girl screams that she asked if they were bandits. The wolf wondered if the robbers would attack their cart and if they were assassins. At this time, the Viscount cries out to the puppy, and the main character wonders if this is really true and who their target is. Hilda wonders if they really attacked her, but still doesn't understand what she did. At this time, the wolf says that it is time to have dinner, after which the man lying on the ground screams, asking to be saved. The main character immediately breaks free from the Viscount's hands and tells him not to let the puppy put him into eternal sleep. The girl realizes that she must know who is behind this. At this time, the man sitting in the house nearby realizes that they should have returned by now. At this time, one of the assassins breaks free from the puppy's clutches and begins to run away. The wolf immediately cries out to his mistress that in such cases there is no point in showing mercy, but the girl says that if it was an unusual robbery, no one needs to know whose orders he is carrying out. The lady also wonders if he will be able to track the robber by smell. The wolf claims that people really like to complicate everything, and that it would have been possible to simply put him into eternal sleep. Hilda says that if he finds the instigator, he can do whatever he wants with that man. The girl also understands that he put the innocent coachman into eternal sleep, and she agrees with the puppy's words because in such cases, there is no place for mercy. The puppy at this time runs after this guy and hopes that the owner will not take her words back. At this time, the man sitting in the hut notices that someone else is getting there. It turns out to be Fiore, and the man is wondering what this guy is doing there. The young man then asks if it is his father, and he claims that he did ask what Timo was doing there. The guy replies that nothing and wants to say something else. But at that very moment, a mercenary appears near the door, and Timo asks what happened. His interlocutor screams that a monster has appeared there. Fiore asks what he is talking about, and the mercenary replies that it is a beast over 2 meters tall. He thought that the gentleman needed to know about this, after which Fiore asks where this monster is, and the guy replies that it is at the foot of the inclined road that leads to the city. The mercenary cuts everything down. He also hits his son and says, "What a fool he is, and he couldn't have come up with this on his own." The man asks whose idea it was, and whether it really belongs to his mother, to which the guy replies that no, and his father asks whose it is then, and also screams for the guy to answer. Timo says that it was Mrs. Tarina's idea, but the man immediately pushes his son away and screams what a fool he is, and wonders how one can be so thoughtless. His interlocutor replies that this girl, in whom the dirty red liquid is mixed, humiliated her father, and is now trying to gain recognition from her grandfather with some insignificant magic. The man at this time screams out, whether that is why he decided to ask Tarina for help, and whether he wanted to plunge that girl into eternal sleep with his own hands. The guy replies that Mrs. Tarina said that she knows several people who can do this job flawlessly, but his father cries out that if it were a professional, he would have gone into eternal sleep the moment things went wrong, and not crawled there, leaving his red liquid everywhere. He also wonders if his son thinks Tarina will act in their best interests. Timo then asks if it turns out that Tarina deceived him, and Fiore screams that if this girl fell into eternal sleep, then the Duchess will put all the blame on him. She gets rid of both of them without lifting a finger, after which the guy asks what to do now, and the man asks if anyone knows about this besides Tarina. To which the guy replies that only he knows about this, and the man says that it's good. And he also says that his son should pray that this Hilda remains alive, because if that happens, the guy will not fall into eternal sleep. After all, he made his father get dirty in the red liquid, after which the guy asks for forgiveness with tears in his eyes. The man at this time talks about the monster and claims that this girl is clearly hiding something. Therefore, this monster can become Hilda's great weakness. A little while later, the Viscount asks the lady if she is okay. The girl answers that if you don't take into account the pain in her stomach, then yes. She also asks a little sadly if the one behind this is really one of the family members. Another one approaching them from behind someone. Rogan screams for the lady to be careful and protects her, after which a dagger flies past his hand. The Viscount immediately runs towards the mercenary, and the main character wonders if there really was another one. After which, the Viscount enters into battle with him. Hilda understands that he can get hurt this way and decides to use magic. The girl sets fire to the carriage and realizes that she has succeeded because now it is lighter around. Well, she doesn't see the mercenary, and when she finally finds him, she realizes that he is attacking the Viscount. The girl immediately begins to use magic and directs it at the mercenary. Rogan then turns to the lady with concern, and the assassin screams for her to put it out immediately. Hilda realizes that she feels like her heart is about to jump out of her chest, while the mercenary at that very moment jumps on the lady and screams that he will plunge her into eternal sleep. The girl thinks if she will be able to use magic again, and she understands what needs to be done, even with the last of her strength, after which the lady uses a spell. A little while later, she is already bandaging Rogan's wound, and also says that she is sorry because this is the first time she has been in such a situation. The guy claims that there is nothing to apologize for because it is natural to be afraid and surprised at such moments, after which he ties the bandage tighter on the earlier one. The main character says that he got hurt. So how can she be calm? Rogan says that it's okay because fortunately there are no serious injuries, and he survived only because the lady used her magic in time. Hilda says that after his words she felt a little calmer, but this time she felt completely different from the last time she used magic. The guy claims that he felt it too, and perhaps her power is growing. Hilda says that she thought that he might fall into eternal sleep, and at some point she was overcome with fear, and also she flared up. The innocent coachman fell into eternal sleep, Rogan was wounded, and this assassin was unharmed, and she became very angry. The guy at this time, he claims that it seems that the lady's magic is born from collected emotions. The lady at this time says that although she wanted the assassin to fall into eternal sleep, the guy at this time says that there is no need to blame yourself, because thanks to the fact that he is gone, they are now safe. He also thinks about how to find words to console her, but the main character turns to the guy and asks how they will get back, because the carriage is falling apart. A little while later, they are already riding a horse, and the girl screams that she forgot to say something to Rogan, and she will tell now, because there are too many curious people in the house. Harry asks what the lady is talking about, and she answers that she wants to test herself, and will claim the place of the heir of Arpeggio. The guy then screams, "Why? And didn't she want a calm and measured life when she entered this family?" Hilda screams that since they send assassins seeing her as a threat to Tony, should she really become one for them? The Viscount at this time asks if she really thinks that he will support her, and the lady screams that if she doesn't answer, he will act only on the Duke's orders. The guy wonders why she wants to do this. And the lady replies that it is simply because she wants to become the heiress and Duchess of Arpeggio. The guy is a little surprised by this, and a little while later, they are already returning home. The maid, seeing her mistress, cries out why she returned so late, and does she know how worried they were. She also asks what is wrong with the lady's appearance, and the girl replies that they met robbers on the way there. Hilda realizes that she and Rojan have already decided everything, after which she also claims that she is alive, thanks to Mr. Strauss. The girl also says that at dawn they should send people there because the coachman was immersed in eternal sleep. The butler is surprised by this and asks if everything is in order. Rogan claims that bandits are uncouth people, so he dealt with them alone. The butler also says that they were moving without a club, so when they saw their dear colleague, they probably thought that they were rich and middle class. The servant also turns to the Viscount and claims that he needs to heal his wounds, so let him go up to his chambers. The maid also turns to the mistress and offers to follow her because she will help the lady wash and change clothes, to which the girl agrees. But when she looks at the stairs, she sees several more family members there. The girl understands that one of them is responsible for this incident, so they will see whose handiwork this is. A little while later, the girl asks who it was, and the puppy replies that it was Timo Arpeggio, Fiore's son and the one who looks a little strange, tall and skinny. The Viscount motions for the girl to be quieter, after which the lady whispers that he simply didn't look like a man capable of such a thing, and maybe Fiore forced him to do it, to take revenge on her for his hair. Well, the puppy replies that no, and he knew nothing about this matter. Hilda asks why he took our puppy, and the puppy replies that he overheard their conversation. It all looked like Fiore found out about everything too late and tried to stop Timo, but there was another person behind all of this. Rogan asks if it is Mrs. Tarina, but the main character whispers and asks if Tarina has a bad relationship with her family. Fiora and they are feuding. So how could Tarina and Tomo act together? The guys claim that Mr. Timo is a bit weak-willed, so he couldn't pull this off on his own. However, if someone supports him, he can easily agree to the deal. The main character wonders if this means that Tarina was helping him, to which the guy replies that it could be, because if she wanted to get rid of two with one shot, then it is possible. The main character says that these two heirs are her and Fiore, and the puppy claims that Fiore said the same thing to his son, and he thought that he was a fool, video theory burnt hair. After this, the main character understands what it means that Tarina used Timo, and the guy didn't even suspect that he was digging a hole for himself. The Viscount claims that this is also possible, and the main character thinks that this is true, and ponders why there are so many people who want to put her into eternal sleep. The lady then sighs and realizes that it turns out she will need to get rid of Tarina and Timo. However, she will not be able to get the place of the heir if she is at odds with everyone, and the girl is thinking with whom to start. The girl also claims that Fiore needs to be involved, but the Viscount asks if she wants to use this incident to her advantage. The main character replies that she should try, but her interlocutor asks, what if he pretends that he doesn't know anything, since she doesn't have any solid evidence? Hilda replies that they won't be needed because only the saint is needed. A little while later, the girl lies down in bed and thinks about how long the day has been. She also thinks about how she wants to become the successor of the Arpeggio family, after which she thinks how she ended up there, because she just wanted to live in prosperity and peace. But no matter how brave she is in front of Rogan, she is not sure that she can become the heir. Even the sound of the wind scares her, so the girl wonders if she will be able to sleep peacefully now. At one point, she jumps out of bed and thinks, what if she gets attacked again? But at the same moment, the girl sees the light on in the corridor and wonders if there is someone outside. She understands that the maid is most likely already asleep, and is it really another mercenary? But if so, then she needs to be prepared. At the same moment, someone addresses the lady, and the main character wonders if it is Rogan's voice. At this time, the Viscount asks if she is asleep, and the girl wonders why he came to her at such an hour. It is not proper for a young man to visit the chambers of a young lady. And a man who is always grumbling about such things came there. Well, then the guy turns around and leaves, and the main character thinks why he left without even knocking. The girl immediately runs to the door and opens it and screams that she is not sleeping. The guy then asks why she doesn't have slippers on, and the main character, despite her legs, understands that she ran out in a hurry and therefore forgot. Well, she still understands that in this situation, she needs to behave confidently, as befits an aristocrat. And the girl asks if Rogan has any business with her. The guy claims that he just wanted to check if the lady is asleep. Hilda replies that she can't find a place for herself because of insomnia and asks if he wanted to say anything else. The brunette replies that he wanted to tell people to go to bed quickly, and the main character asks if that's all, to which the guy replies that yes. Hilda asks if he is serious, and the guy replies that one of the main principles of aristocracy is good sleep. The main character asks how many of these principles are there, and the guy puts it down as candle, and then asks the lady for forgiveness. He picks the girl up and claims that it is not proper for a lady to walk around the house barefoot. Hilda asks if this is because it is against etiquette, and she knows this, so she offers to let her go. Rogan claims that this is also the case, but she might get hurt, after which the guy will put her in bed and the main character will thank her. The Viscount tells her to go to sleep now, because he will be there until she falls asleep. Hilda wonders if this concern also comes from the Duke's orders. Well, if it is not so, then maybe it is worth crossing the line. The main character turns to the Viscount and asks if he can hold her hand until she falls asleep. After this, the guy offers his hand, and the main character, seeing how he thought, asks what it is. The guy replies that he remembers how in childhood he almost fell into eternal sleep and also could not sleep at night, thinking that he would lose his life. Spending the night with open eyes, the shadows on the ceiling in the room became more and more like monsters. The main character wonders if the Viscount was also scared, and who was holding little Rogan, who couldn't sleep by the hand. The guy claims that, however, in the end, no one was able to put him into eternal sleep, so let the lady not be afraid and fall asleep, because no one can hurt her. Hilda smiles and thinks that this is what it is like to have someone you can trust nearby. When she becomes a duchess, she will be able to make it completely hers. A little while later, the girl opens the window and understands that now she should start implementing her plan. The evening after the attack, the main character asked the Viscount how about using the sound magic that he taught her last time. The guy asked if she was talking about the magic of gathering, to which the lady replied that probably yes, and the spell could be repeated, although it was confusing. Then the main character asks what he will say about them collecting Tarina's voice, as evidence who speaks of Timo as the guilty one. But the Viscount wonders how, since it's unlikely that Madame Tarina would say such a thing so simply. Hilda claims that the main thing is that she says Timo's name and asks if it would be possible to collect everything in one sentence and correct it a little. The guy answered that he said that the magic of collecting is possible, but he never said that it would be possible to correct what was collected. The main character asks why not, and the guy replies that because such a spell does not exist. Well then, the lady claimed that it was possible to create something new. A little while later, the main character already thanks the Duchess for agreeing to have tea with her. The woman replied that it would be best to have tea in the greenhouse now, and the main character replied that this was true, and also asked if the lady would be against sometimes devoting time to her in this way. The woman replied that only occasionally, and the main character, having sniffed some of it, said how pleasant its aroma was. The woman then claims that she heard that something terrible had happened to the lady recently, and how good it was that she had already recovered. Hilda thanks her for her concern, and the Duchess wonders if the culprit has been caught yet. The main character thinks that, of course, because that's all she needs to know. The girl replies that, unfortunately, the body was completely burnt, so it was impossible to identify it. The woman then says that even recently, these bandits have become completely unbridled, so the lady was very lucky to stay alive. Hilda replies that yes, and it seems that the heavens were on her side. The girl also thinks that this is great, because now they can start collecting evidence. The ladies also claim that while sitting in the greenhouse, she remembers her father, because he was a gardener by profession and very handsome. She also says that the Duchess probably knows about this, because she heard rumors that her father used to work there as a gardener. But the woman replies that no, unfortunately, she doesn't know him, because as she said earlier, she has never met Rusha. The main character says that this is how it is, and then it is a pity, because her father really was very, very handsome. The girl also says that her father was as tall as the son of Mr. Tior, but the lady asks what his name was. Then she asks if his name is Fred, but the woman replies that his name is Timo Arfeggio. The main character thinks that this is great, because she managed to collect sounds to fake evidence, after which she even asks for forgiveness and claims that she learned their names incorrectly. The Duchess says that this is bad, because if she makes such mistakes with other people, she will have a hard time. But the lady still has a lot to learn, and that's why it must be hard for Ostrich Hilda thinks that let this woman laugh as much as she wants, because soon there will be no reasons for laughter. The girl also says that it is true. A little while later, the main character asks how to revive this sound now, and Rogan answers that the spell is long, so he suggests that she take a pen and paper. The puppy then uses magic to create a pen and paper, and Blackman thanks him. The main character points to something and asks why this phrase is written there, to which the guys answer that it is just for a beautiful frame of words. Hilda wonders if it wouldn't be better to remove this, and the sentence would become shorter, but the guy replies that the effectiveness of magic lies in how beautiful and impressive the spell is that is created. Hilda asks if this is true, and the puppy claims that a word can cut worse than a knife, and the language run is a tool for creating a dialogue with the universe. So wouldn't the universe want to respond to more polite words? At this point, the Viscount puts down his pen, and the main character asks if he has finished the spell yet. The guy replies yes, and the girl asks him to try it once, after which the guy does so. He places his hand on the necklace and begins to cast a spell, and the main character realizes that with the help of Rogan's spell, her voices with Tarina began to appear in the form of letters. The Viscount says that there are so many unnecessary words there, and the puppy claims that it will take a long time to correct it, and it should work if you dive into it head first for 2 days. The main character asks if it is really that hard, and the puppy replies that he said yesterday that the state is not a matter that can only be solved with the help of magical abilities. This will only work if there is a deep understanding of the spell and a great connection with the universe. The main character then touches the spell with her hand and asks, what if she simply erases the unnecessary parts with force? The puppy claims that if it were so easy to do, they would have managed, but he always looks at the girl and is surprised. The main character tells him to look because she can do it, and also thinks that it's somehow strange that it's so simple. Then she climbs onto the table, but the Viscount tells the lady that it is dangerous, but the girl asks if she should just remove all the unnecessary things. The puppy convinces the mistress that it seems that something is wrong with her body. Hilda asks what exactly, and the wolf replies that her skills in magic are not strong, but incredibly powerful. The main character understands that she does not know what he is talking about, but since the Viscount is smiling, then apparently she is very good. So they got false testimony, and all that was left was to guess the time and place to blackmail Timos. But after the attack incident, she doesn't know if he's afraid of her, or Tarina Fior is stuck to Timo, and doesn't even think about leaving him, but she needs to meet the guy alone. A little while later, the main character is walking through the garden, and the Viscount claims that Mr. Fiore will not be at the estate tomorrow. Hilda asks what he is talking about, and understands that she was tormented by thoughts all night, and even secretly followed Timo, but she needed to immediately discuss everything with Rogan. The brunette claims that early tomorrow morning, the gentleman will go to Baron Raguel's estate, so he will probably return only the day after tomorrow morning, or tomorrow late evening. The main character asks how he knows so much, and does he really have the gift of foresight? Well, the Viscount asks what she is talking about, and claims that he only heard out of the corner of his ear that a billiards meeting will take place in the Baron's house, and Mr. Fiore never misses such high society gatherings. The main character asks if he really loves entertainment so much, and the guy replies that the billiards meeting is not just for entertainment. The lady can think of it as a tea party for noble women, pretending to be close friends. They observe the enemy's forces and demonstrate themselves, and of course, gather information. Hilda says that now she understands, but says that he won't take Timo with him to the meeting. Rogan says that he doesn't think that Fiore will throw money around and pay the participation fee for both. At once, Hilda asks if there is really a participation fee, and the guy replies that many tea parties also have a participation fee or some other conditions. The main character wonders if these aristocrats are really going crazy, where to put the money, which is too much. But she still says that whatever it was, everything worked out great, because the meeting was organized at the most opportune time, to which the guy says that it's true, and with a smile on her face, she says, What a coincidence this is. At this time, the main character thinks that for some reason, Rogan's behavior seems strange to her. After which, the main character asks if he really did something to make this billiard meeting happen, and asks if it is true. The guy smiles and claims that he has prepared the place and asks if the lady can handle the rest herself. But the girl only tells him not to worry. After all, she is simply a master of threats. In the morning, as Rogan predicted, Fiore went to the meeting, and it seems that going out into high society is more important than looking after his son. A little while later, someone says that the lady can go, and the main character realizes that it seems Fiore advised his son not to meet her alone, or Timo was overconfident and decided that he could handle her himself. But in any case, it's only for the best for her. When a girl enters the room, the guy says that she doesn't even know when to bow her head, and that she's such an uneducated girl. But the main character says that he should bow his head before her, after which the guy asks what she said, and the girl asks what he thinks why she came to him. The guy says that if she wants to apologize for the time when she set his father's hair on fire, she needs to bow her head to the floor. But Hilda says that he needs to apologize for trying to put her into eternal sleep. The guy then screams in shock, asking if she has any evidence, and the girl understands that if he really was innocent, he would be confused or would ask what kind of nonsense this is. But at least he wouldn't have started talking about evidence, and he really was trying to put her into eternal sleep. Hilda wonders if he really thinks that she came there without evidence, but the guy screams at her not to lie and asks what the girl is going to do. The main character shows the pendant and says that it also has magical powers, after which she asks if he doesn't understand what it is. The girl uses a spell, after which the words of Lady Tarina are pronounced from the pendant, who claims that she heard that the lady experienced something truly terrible a few days ago. Hilda at this time understands that she had to use sound collection magic and editing magic to intimidate Timo, and also had to study everything at an accelerated pace, so the lady thinks whether she should be grateful or vice versa. At this time, the words were pronounced from the pendant that the criminal was Timo Arpeggio, and the woman claimed that this was the nanny, and also wondered why she had such a misunderstanding. Hilda understands that since it's all fabricated, she felt a little insecure, but this guy is so confused that he doesn't even suspect anything. At this point, the guy falls to his knees and screams that it wasn't him, but the main character claims that now she is going to hand it over to the Duke. The guy at the same moment grabs her by the dress and screams that it is not necessary, otherwise he is finished. But the main character is interested in why on earth she should not do this. Timo screams that it was not him, and the main character is interested in whether he thinks that Mrs. Tarina only gave testimony. After all, she said that she has evidence, and promised to testify before the Duke together with her, so the main character asks if he is really going to justify himself, even in this case, to which the guy screams that it really wasn't him. And also, Mrs. Tarina ordered him to do this because she is the real criminal and is trying to shift all the blame onto him. The main character then pushes the guy's hand away and turns to him and asks if he really thinks she came to him without knowing it. The guy is surprised by this, and Hilda tells him to think about it. After all, why would Mrs. Tarina be willing to help her and give evidence? The girl also says that it was not Mrs. Tarina who came to her, but she came to Mrs. Tarina. The guy then asks why, and the girl replies that because she already knew everything and she knows that the real instigator is Mrs. Tarina, and she simply used him and also exposed him to the criminals in order to escape responsibility and blame him for everything. Timo asks how she knows about the lady. He understands that it is because she has a cute puppy who is very good at secret surveillance, but now she claims that she does not think she has to explain to him anymore, and that the only important thing is that she knows everything. The girl also says that if she provides this evidence to the Duke, he will become a criminal who plans to plunge his own relative into eternal sleep. After which, the main character turns around, and the guy screams at her. The lady claims that she is ready to give him a chance, after which the guy asks what she is talking about. Hilda claims that if he apologizes to her for what he did, writing down what happened in detail, she will destroy the evidence and not tell the Duke anything. Tarina is immoral and cunning, so she does not want to team up with such a person. And this means that if she has to cooperate with one of the two, then she will choose him and his father, and now the choice is his. Let her go, and let her tell the Duke everything right now, or honestly, confess everything and pull her over to their side with her father. The girl also hands him a piece of paper with the first one and tells the guy to choose. A little while later, Fiore returns to the duchy, but when he sees the main character, he asks what it is. Hilda says that if he is not busy, would he like to have a cup of tea with her? The man claims that he is not busy, but is not going to waste his time drinking tea with someone like her. But the main character says that she wonders if his decision will remain unchanged. When he reads this, the man screams what is going on there, if she is acting so brazenly. When the man reads this, he is shocked and tries to tear the paper, but the main character asks if he is really going to do this and thinks only that she did not even leave any spell on this paper. After which, she even says that she will repeat the question and asks if he will drink a cup of tea with her. A little while later, the two are sitting at a table and the man asks what the girl wants. If she was going to harm him, she would have probably shown the document not to him, but to her father, or to Tarina. And if she didn't do this, it means she wants to make a deal with him. The main character says that this is absolutely true, and understands that, as Rogan said, it seems that Fiore is quite smart, and quickly grasps. The man says that he immediately warns, because even if she takes this piece of paper and goes to her father and also whines, he will not blink an eye. Hilda thinks she knows, and the Duke won't protect her by throwing out his eldest son. On the contrary, if this matter grows and rumors spread, then most likely he will blame her for causing all this noise. However, the girl claims that this could undermine his status as an heir, after which the man screams in shock, asking what she is talking about and how dare she say such a thing. Hilda asks if she will shake him, and she will only add fuel to the fire, and the rest will be done by Mrs. Tarina. The man at this time screams that if the lady heard about everything from her son, then she should know perfectly well that Tarina is an accomplice to the crime. Hilda replies that there is Timo's confession, but there is no evidence or anything else against Tarina. On the contrary, she could accuse Timo of setting her up. The man then claims that the girl could not have come up with such a plan, and wonders if this was Strauss's doing, and whether he egged her on. Well, the main character smiles after this, and says that Mr. Fiore knows him better than her, after which the main character asks if he would try so hard for her. After all, he himself said that Strauss is the Duke's faithful assistant, after which the man only screams, calling her Devil Fox. Well, the girl suggests getting down to business, because he still hasn't asked what she wants. The lady also tells him to firstly treat her with respect. No girls in Fox, let him address her as Hilda Arpeggio. The man only gets indignant after that. And the main character asks if this is a difficult condition, because she does not ask to treat her like her niece. The man says that it is fine, and he understands this condition, and the main character says that it is second. The man asks if there is really a second condition, and the main character claims that she said it earlier first of all, so it's obvious what will happen next, and the man says that it's good, and for a start, he'll listen to what she says. Hilda tells him to organize a tea party and introduce her to other aristocrats, observing all formalities and politeness. Fiore asks if she is talking about tea drinking, and the main character thinks that he is probably in shock because the same thing happened to her at first. Hilda asked the Viscount what he was talking about because they had received the perfect confession, but she should ask for some kind of tea party. The guy claimed that, as he had already said earlier, tea drinking is a place to meet people and get information about this, so it is quite prestigious to hold it. And moreover, would Mr. Fiore really believe it if she said that she had to protect the position of the heiress, so from today onwards she would unite with him and would deeply trust him and support him? Hilda replied that no, and yet tea drinking is too little, because it was so hard for her to get Timo's confession. Well, the guy then turns to the lady and claims that the human heart is not easy to win. But gradually, step by step, observing all stages, it is possible to get it. Now the man asks if she is really asking to organize a tea party. Hilda understands that Fiore, as the first son of the Duke, has power, and such a person will arrange a tea party for her, and also introduce her to other nobles, which will mean that the first son of the Duke is behind her. Fiore Arpeggio. This alone will give her power, but since he doesn't know everything, he will think that this is too simple a request compared to the cards in her hands. And naturally, the negotiations will go smoothly, so the man now claims that it is good, and he will accept this condition. A little while later, the main character is sitting with a book, and the puppy says that she does have a natural talent for creating spells. He also turns to the hostess and asks how long she's going to stare at one point. But the main character thinks what else school can be at dawn. At this time, the Viscount asks if the lady is tired, and the main character wonders what kind of guy this is. The main character thinks how it is possible to be so beautiful, even at such a time, after which she says that she had to work hard on a lot in connection with the case of Fiore and Timo, because she hoped that she would be able to rest for at least a day. The guy claims that if you think about it, then soon in connection with what happened, Mr. Timo will leave the estate, and the main character asks where he will go. And the guy replies that it looks like he's transferring to a boarding school in the south. Hilda says that it's so unexpected and wonders if he's really going to hide in a safe place, to which the guys reply that most likely, and for sure, they want to send him to a place where the guy won't have enough magic. For example, the magic of Mrs. Terina or Mrs. Hilda. The main character tells him to wait, and when he says so, it seems like she did something as bad as Terina, but the guy asks if they both haven't encountered difficulties. Hilda thinks this is unfair and claims that, although the Duchess was going to take her life, all she did was make Timo fall to his knees and cry. But after this, the puppy suggests that the owner stop the idle chatter and concentrate on the lesson, to which the main characters do not agree, and say that she is already doing this. The girl also understands that it is worth only looking at the books, and she begins to feel sick. But then the main character remembers something else and claims that she decided what she wants to receive from the duchy as a reward. The Viscount asks what she's talking about, and the puppy says that she's not composed at all. Hilda claims that during a recent family dinner, she received a promise from the Duke, and after he was touched by her amazing magic, he gave her one wish. After this, the brunette asks what she chose as a reward, and the main character thinks for a bit. A little while later, the Duke asks if the lady is asking to introduce a knight to her, to which the girl replies that, yes, everything is as she said. She only needs someone who will protect her by taking responsibility for her life. The man then asks if this is really the case, and he heard that several days ago she was attacked by robbers, so he asks if this is really the case. The Duke says that the Viscount also knows how to handle a sword, and it seems that the lady does not trust his skills. Hilda replies that no, and even that day she was saved thanks to the Viscount. But the man asks if she really wants to hire a knight and can't protect herself, so she asks to find a defender. This sounds weak for the one who calls himself Arpeggio. The Duke also says that there is no need to look for a knight just for her sake, and who would try to harm her unless it was a robber blinded by a few pennies. The girl thinks that she is fed up with this because this man himself does not even know what those who were blinded by power have done. Her but his wife, and she almost put her into eternal sleep. After which, the girl says that the Duke seems to have misunderstood her and asks if she can explain to him, to which the man replies that it is fine, and he will listen to her. The girl claims that she needs a knight and not a protector, but the man says that he does not understand the difference and wonders if the girl does not just want a bodyguard who will protect her. Hilda replies that, of course, she needs protection too. However, first of all, she wants someone who will teach her how to wield a sword. The man then turns to the girl and asks if she really wants to learn how to wield a sword. He also says what kind of nonsense this is, and what is good about a noblewoman owning a sword. Hilda replies that if she learns to wield a sword, then at least among the noble ladies, she will become the most skilled in this matter. But the man asks what the point is. Well, the main character asks if he doesn't exist, because at least when it comes to the ball, she will be number one. And should she learn to play musical instruments, sing, or embroider like the daughters of other families? The girl also wonders if the Arpeggios are a family that follows rules created by others, or a family setting new rules and leading everyone. The man then asks how she decided to arrogantly test him, using some small magical power that she has as a weapon. The girl is scared in front of the Duke, but thinks that she needs to hold on, because if she gives in now, then it will be the end of everything, to which the lady replies that no, and not because she is relying on her magical powers. The man asks what it is then, and the lady replies that she believes in the influence of the Duke who gave her the surname Arpeggio, so let him wait and see. As soon as Lady Arpeggio takes the sword in his hands, then soon all the young ladies will do the same. The man is only silent after this, and the main character wonders if he will refuse again. After which, the Duke finally says that she will have a night, and the main character wants to thank him, but the man only opens the book and tells her to go now. When the girl leaves, she bows, but thinks that she almost fell into eternal sleep from nerves. But in any case, the Duke was convinced. She wonders what this night will be like, and perhaps he will be the one who will take her side. A little while later, the main character is already barefoot and heading somewhere, and realizes that she doesn't even have anywhere to go. So maybe she should have held back. Hilda also understands that it's not that she didn't know that Rogan is demanding and stingy with praise, but he's the only one on her side in this house, and the girl wonders why she behaved this way. A little while ago, the main character cried out, whether it seemed to him that the Viscount was obsessed with only one result. Kana also suggested that he look at the process itself, but the guy argued that if the process did not lead to an ideal result, then it was useless. Hilda claimed that not all people can be perfect like him because she is an ordinary person, and instead of just telling her that she is bad at it, she also wants him to look at what she is good at. And the girl asked if it was so difficult. Rogan said that if she wanted to hear praise, he would ask the Duke to give her a teacher who was generous to her, but the main character said how stubborn he was. After which, she screamed that Rogan was a complete zero as a teacher. Well, after which, she turned around and started to leave. The girl took off her heels, but the guy turned to her and insisted that the lady could not walk around barefoot because it was dangerous. Now the girl is wondering if this is really the academic stress she had only heard about before, and whether she should apologize first. Hilda understands that from now on, she will call Rogan the Demon King of Grumbling, after which the girl screams calling him that, and also thinks that now her soul has become lighter. Well, at that very moment, she hears someone laughing, and when she turns around, she sees some guy in a tree, laughs loudly and repeats the lady's words, but at that very moment, he slips and begins to fall from the tree. When he falls to the floor, the main character is shocked and thinks that it was very high up there, and wonders if he has fallen into eternal sleep. But the guy just keeps laughing, and also repeating that Rogan Strauss is the king of the demons of grumbling. The main character looking at this thinks, what kind of psycho is this? At this time, the butler enters the Viscount's room and asks what he is doing there. The guy hides his heels at this time. The butler asks for forgiveness, but claims that the door was open. The ostrich says that everything is fine, but wonders if something happened. The man replies that, in fact, it may not be so important, but he received a favor from the Raken family. The Viscount asks if that is really true, and the man answers that yes. And he, with a face pale with horror, asked if their third young gentleman had come to them. On the way, he suddenly disappeared without saying a word, and no matter how much they looked for him, they couldn't find him anywhere. The brunette says that if we are talking about the third young master of the Raken family, then his name is Elijah Rakan. He is known in social circles for his unpredictable behavior, and this guy was the complete opposite of Rogan, who insisted on the right path. His only merit was that he was an excellent swordsman. But despite this, Ilya was expelled from the Imperial Knights 6 months after joining because his character made it difficult to be subordinate to anyone. The Viscount says that he is an adult after all, so he will probably find his way home, to which the butler replies that this is true, but the problem is that he was heading to their estate. The guy then thinks about what kind of business this joker might have in the duchy, after which he asks if this is really connected with the knight appointed for the lady. At the same moment, he hears the voice of the main character, who screams that some psycho is chasing her. The guy is surprised by this, and the girl screams that a strange guy fell from a tree in the garden, and it looks like some crazy person got into their estate. The butler then exchanges glances with the Viscount, and the guy only sighs. The main character screams at him to come up with something quickly, and hides behind him. But at that very moment, this guy runs into the room, and he says that the lady is very fast, just like a cute squirrel. He also claims that he heard the lady talking to herself in the garden, and she was witty and also smart like a cute squirrel. At that moment when he tried to talk to the lady, she ran away, and he just couldn't help but follow her. The main character only screams for him to leave and not come near her, and also tells Rogan to do something because this guy is clearly not himself. Ilya answers the lady that he is completely normal, and rather even his mind has become clearer and calmer than ever. Hearing the lady's voice, he immediately realized that his whole heart belonged to her. After which, the guy gets down on one knee, and the Viscount watching this only darkens, and then cries out that this is enough. He also sighs and says that it will be difficult if both of them start making so much noise in the mansion. He also turns to the butler and tells him to escort the knight to the reception room, because he will be arriving soon, to which Graham agrees. But Ilya asks if there's any need to go to the reception area, because it seems that all interested parties have already gathered there. So why not just talk there? But when the Viscount looks at him, the guy immediately says that if you think about it, the reception room is a very good option, and also suggests that the butler go quickly. The main character at this time turns to Rogan and asks if he will give her the opportunity to justify herself, after which the guy remains silent. Hilda says that as he sees suddenly, some guy appeared who is not himself. But at that moment, the guy lifts the lady, and the main character screams and asks where he is. Rogan claims that he is going to go and leave her outside the territory of the duchy estate. Hilda screams that this can't be happening. A little while later, she realizes that fortunately, instead of throwing her outside the estate, Rogan took away her to Dorothy. And when the maid was wiping the mistress's feet, she asked the miss what kind of look it was. A little while later, the knight introduces himself officially and claims that he is the third son of Count Rakan Ilya Rakan. The guy also claims that it is an honor for him to meet the lady Hilda o Arpeggio. The main character then says that he turns out to be a normal person and claims that her name is Hilda Arpeggio. The lady is also about to say that she regrets having met him, but then corrects herself and states that she is pleased to meet him. The Viscount claims that Lord Rakan is the man His Excellency the Duke hired to Hilda, and from now on, he will help her and also be responsible for the lady's safety. The main character asks if he can be trusted, and the guy replies that His Majesty the Emperor, who granted him the title of knight, can vouch for his abilities. Rakan's fencing skills are so outstanding that he was knighted at the age of 8, so the lady can rely on him, at least as for fencing skills. The main character thinks what kind of formulation is this, after which the Viscount asserts that in any case, it is a great fortune for both of them that the Duke is not at the estate now. After all, if he personally saw all the chaos that was happening, Ilya asks if everything would be bad in that case, to which his interlocutor replies that it would be very bad, while the main character says that, in the end, he will find out anyway, and given so many eyes and ears in this estate, it will be pretty soon. The Viscount claims that he has instructed the servants to keep their mouths shut, but it will not be possible to completely hide the incident, so it is better to prepare before the Duke makes a reprimand. He also gives them until the end of today, and they both have to write an explanatory note about repentance on 5 pages. These two look at the paper and then they can't stand it at all. And at the same time, they slam their hand on the table and ask what he is talking about and whether they really need to write an explanatory note. Rogan just watches as the two touch hands. A little while later, the Viscount asks if the letter has arrived. The butler replies that yes, and it is from the Viscountcy. And there is also a letter from the imperial family, Rogan. He says that it is good, and let him leave them both there because he will give it to the Duke when he returns. The guy also thinks about the letter from the imperial family and understands that it probably talks about the Night Castle that Hilda asked the Duke earlier. The girl claimed that she wanted the Night Castle to belong to her, and the man replied that it belonged to the imperial family. Singing ceremonies were held there anymore, so the imperial family should not care about it, and if they offered to buy it, they would give it to her for half the price. Now the Viscount wonders if the imperial family has demonstrated its generosity in response to the bold proposal of the young lady who has just been added to the noble family's lineage. The butler at this time claims that he spoke again with the servants about the noise that happened during the day, and it seemed to him that the Viscount continued to worry about it, to which the guy thanks him. And after that, the butler just smiles, and the guy asks, "What's the matter?" To which his interlocutor replies that it seems that the gentleman, who was always calm, has become more angry and shows his emotions. The guy gets a little embarrassed after this and says that it's clear, and that he will also be more careful. But the servant replies that no, and he did not say this in a negative way, because even as a child, he was quiet and mature beyond his years. Sometimes he even worried whether the gentleman was trying too hard, so he was pleased to see him now. At the same moment, someone knocks on the door and addresses Rogan after which the butler says that he is leaving the master. And when he heads to the door, he sees the main character there, and the girl hands over her explanatory note. The Viscount asks if she has thought about her behavior, to which the lady replies that he will understand when he reads it. Rakan is like, Rogin replies that he is as the lady saw him, and the girl asks if he is crazy. Rogan says that many people judge him exactly like that, and the main character screams if he really is a psycho, and also if the Duke introduced her to a crazy person. She also thinks that this is not a reward, but a punishment. The lady also wonders why such a man would agree to become her knight, since she had heard that others had rejected the offers, not wanting to grab onto a rotten rope. The Viscount asks what she is talking about, and the main character replies that she is talking about a rotten rope, because it seems that no one wanted to become her knight, considering that they would not receive any benefit from it. Rogan asks if Knight Raken really said that, and the main character wonders why the guy looks more furious. What is she? And is this really an interested party? A little while ago, the girl was sitting with the knight. She also thought that the boor Rogan had forced her to write an explanatory note of remorse. Well, then the knight who was sitting next to her turned to the lady and offered her as a master of writing explanatory notes to give her a couple of tips. The main character then refused, but the guy claimed that he had been writing them for 4 years, so the lady could take his note as an example. And the main character was shocked, wondering if he had already written everything. She also said that it was not necessary, and understood that this guy had probably written some nonsense, and calmed down because he not only appeared out of the blue, but also talked nonsense while pursuing her. The girl also asked why he behaved like that towards her, because he was stalking her and saying strange things. The guy only smiled after that and claimed that he was wrong. Her fiery appearance was so cute that he constantly wanted to tease her. The main character was shocked and wondered what this psycho was talking about, but he insisted to the guy that he had done the right thing by deciding to become a knight of the lady. Hilda asked if he knew that her father was a commoner, and if he had been bothering her because he didn't know about it now. He understood everything. The main character thinks that he will not get any benefit from her, but the guy after that only smiled and claimed that, of course, it is an honor to work under the Duke. Hey, there is no one who would not want to be friends with the family. Arpeggio. Outside the duchy, there are also countless knights who are seething with the desire to gain more power. Well, he came to her who is the third son of the count, so he asks what could be the reason. The main character understands what it means to find out that she is only half an aristocrat. No one wanted to become her knight, and they probably thought she was a rotten rope. But the guy then turned to the lady and claimed that he came there already knowing everything, and the main character thinks that's why he came. Now the Viscount asks the lady if this knight really said that she is a rotten rope, and the girl replies that although he did not say it directly, it is obvious what the knights think about her. After which, Rogan sighs, and the main character is offered to be, and not theirs, and wonders why Ilya decided to become her knight, knowing that he will not receive any benefit, because she does not understand this at all. The county has a good financial position and stable ground under its feet. Their eldest daughter is married to the prince of the kingdom of Osnam, so they are not absent from power at all. And the count has 3 sons, and the eldest of them is an outstanding wizard, so there is no fight for the right of succession in sight. And Ilyarakin is the 3rd son of such a family. But then the girl says that this is why he can have a life with status and power, but at the same time, no interference from his family, and this is exactly the life of an aristocrat that she dreams of. So she is even envious. Rogan at this time thinks that seeing this expression on her face, it is obvious what the lady is thinking about. Well then, the main character turns to the guy and says that no matter what, she can't help but doubt him. Perhaps it is because she has many enemies. The Viscount then turns to the lady with concern, and he claims that Ilyarakin is experienced enough to become the youngest person to join the Imperial Knight Squad. But why doesn't he belong to the Imperial Family Knight Squad now? Well, the lady's answer that she doesn't know, and perhaps he was kicked out because of his strange character. The Viscount replies that Rakan is such a freedom-loving person and only chases entertainment, so it is difficult for him to live in a group. The main character asks if this means that he has decided to become her knight, because it looks interesting, and that is the whole reason, to which the guy replies that it is. And he also wonders if this will calm the lady down, because Elijah needs to be warned against careless actions. The main character only gets angry after this and understands that if everything is as Rogan says, then this guy really is a psycho. Well, she's still glad that at least he's not one of those people who hatches insidious plans, and if she gets used to his antics, then maybe they'll even get along well together. A little while later, the guy asks if the lady really wants to learn how to use a sword, and she answers yes. The young man then asks for forgiveness, but asks if he can find out the reason, and the lady replies that she must protect herself. The guy claims that he heard that she was recently attacked by robbers, and wonders if this is the reason. Hilda replies that yes, and understands that in fact, she was attacked not by bandits, but by mercenaries. The guy then claims that he is actually worried, because it seems the lady does not trust his abilities. And the girl replies that, to be honest, it is difficult for her to say anything since she has never seen him in action, but she does not doubt his abilities, after which the guy says that he is touched by her words. And the main character understands that Rogan did say that this guy has outstanding abilities, so she trusts him completely. The guy then hands the lady a sword in a sheath and tells the girl to hit him with it, with the intention of plunging him into eternal sleep.